week, and I'm joined by, oh my god, okay, caught off guard there, but I am joined by my co-host with the most productivity in the past week, Johnny J25. How you doing?
My productivity has been insane.
Yeah,
I'm making the most of this quarantine time, that's for sure.
terrific. And we're joined by a very special, very energetic, and long time friend of the show, Turbo. How are you doing?
Brad Austin, what's going on, Tortellini Tush? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm here on Zombroz. Listen, this is a time period where we're dealing with Corona. We're dealing with a gap year in zombies. I'm ready to bring the heat, Reed. Let's go.
Is Turbo wearing glasses? Is that Robo Turbo or Turbo?
So this is Frozone. This is Brooklyn Frozone. My friends, we used to do I used to be a part of like a Impractical Jokers thing I did with my friends. And if I lost a season with them, I would have to dress up as Frozone in Times Square. But that's not a punishment because I'll do that on a Saturday anyway. So it's okay. But this is Brooklyn Frozone. And I had to bring it out for the podcast. You know, I have to bring it. I have to bring it all, Reed. This is Zombroz. What am I talking about?
I'm still on Tortellini Tush.
Tortellini Tush.
I'm still there.
You're my Italian friend. Like, don't forget you're Italian. Come on, you're Tortellini Tush.
Oh, I can't forget. Sir, every morning I don't forget. I'm Italian, that's for sure. Okay. Oh, you know what I did forget to do was tweet out that we're live. So I'm going to go do all that. In the meantime, we are going to be talking about the reboot of Call of Duty Black Ops 2020, the rumors that have been floating around. We're going to talk about war zones. We're going to talk about your topics, and we're trying out a brand new poll. So we're going to see how all that goes. So John, if you'd like to give me a second so I can go tweet everything out, why don't you dive into maybe your first thoughts of Warzone, and then we'll move into the Black Ops 2020 talk?
Yeah, so Warzone. I think Call of Duty might have found a format that works. And it makes me really excited for what Call of Duty is doing in the future. So Warzone, for those who don't know, is Call of Duty's new free-to-play battle royale. And it's not just like free, it's all set in Modern Warfare.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't need Modern Warfare to play Warzone,
big thing.
Which I always felt like Call of Duty has been a dinosaur the past few years.
Mm-hmm.
Like Call of Duty is so stuck on this model of we're going to release a game every year for $60 and we're going to be the biggest game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We have to sell the most of a singular $60 game. They've been stuck in that mindset for forever. And even with Blackout, they were like, yeah, you want to play Blackout, you have to have Black Ops 4. And I think that was a really bad decision, especially in a market where every other Battle Royale was free to play.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, when I see Warzone being free to play and you don't need to own Modern Warfare, I'm just happy to see Call of Duty acting like a modern gaming company and not a dinosaur in terms of their model.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is really good for not even zombies as well. Because I think one of the things that killed zombies was they didn't have much of a development team. Because in the past, Call of Duty was basically divided up like this. You had your campaign team, your zombies team, and your multiplayer team. And during the lead up to the game, they're firing on all cylinders. Once the campaign wraps up, some of them move over into zombies. And then throughout the season of that game, you have people working on zombies and people working on multiplayer.
And that was a big downfall in BO4.
Yeah. In BO4, suddenly what you had was instead of the campaign people going to work on zombies, you instead had 3 teams going, Blackout, multiplayer, zombies, running continuously all year, which I think is part of the reason why, you know, one day zombies might have 20 people working on it, and then the next day 5, was because you now had 3 game modes that are constantly demanding attention.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm hoping is that instead, now you have Warzone, which I imagine will always be available with whatever is the current Call of Duty. Because they seem to have found a way to make it independent of the specific game. You know, like you don't need Modern Warfare to play. I know it's set in Modern Warfare.
You download Modern Warfare, and then if you want to buy Modern Warfare, then it gets unlocked.
No, I know, but that's I think also part of their model that's clever.
Gotcha. So you're going to say they're going to keep redoing that, re-releasing that model for each game.
Okay. Well, Warzone is cross-platform, and so because it's cross-platform, I imagine that they can also set it up in such a way that when Black Ops 5 comes out, you can log on to the Warzone server through Black Ops 5.
Okay.
And I think it's smart because you get people introduced to the current Call of Duty by playing Warzone for free.
Mm-hmm.
And Warzone will be continuously available with each Call of Duty. And then they'll go, okay, well, I'm really enjoying Warzone. Fuck it, I'll throw $60 and pay for the rest of Black Ops. You know, it's there as a reminder I think it's a really clever model.
I agree.
I agree. And I'd imagine that Warzone will now have its own dedicated studio. If somebody could tell me who's actually working on Warzone, that would be great because I don't actually know that answer. But I would hope then what that means is that because Warzone is a continuously running product, that they restructure their development team such that you don't have a Black Ops 3 situation where resources are being pulled in too many directions.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping.
I think it's a fair point. And I know people keep talking about like you brought up, cross-platform, so there might not be exclusivity with the next game. So you might even have zombies cross-platform, and they're opening up the community. So I wonder if this is getting more people involved, because in the past they were so strict about it, about people sticking to their consoles and not having cross-platform playability. It was almost a desperation move. It seemed like from the outside looking in that they needed to pump up the player bases. But now we're getting a chance potentially to have Xbox, PC, and PS4 or PS5.
It's already a thing.
No. I'm. Let me finish the sentence. As looking forward to the next Call of Duty, to Black Ops 2020, having zombie races at the same exact time, having zombies experiencing this, and potentially growing the zombie community like they have now done with their multiplayer and their Battle Royale community. So like you said, this model doesn't only just apply to what they have done with Modern Warfare, but potentially forward with their future games in a way that benefits the community.
Mm-hmm. I think Warzone is a lot more forward-thinking than Blackout ever was.
Okay.
Because, Blackout was a rushed effort. Cut the campaign, throw in Battle Royale, because that was the zeitgeist at the time. Where it's very clear that I think because they didn't just throw in Warzone with the launch of Modern Warfare, that they put some thought into this, and they thought more, to quote a beloved member of the community, they were thinking future-proof.
Future-proof. Especially in-game stuff, too. Like BO4, the Blackout and BO4, it had the actual, if you think about in-game mechanics now, what Warzone has in-game mechanics, it's actually, if you're a Call of Duty fan, you're playing, I was just watching Noah before play it, and when you're seeing Call of Duty players who really didn't even like the Call of Duty from last year come back to play Warzone, and it's all because the in-game stuff. For example, the Gulag, big thing, being able to not die, being able to go right back in with your friends, and even if one of your friends dies, two of the other ones can go back, and it makes it so Call of Duty's making it so we just want people to play again, and we just want people to experience Call of Duty again, because that was lacking at the end of BO4.
And I think too, like Warzone has become relevant in a way that Call of Duty has struggled to become. Like I have friends sending me like Warzone memes.
Really?
Like I got sent a meme the other day where it was have you ever seen the Bane versus Pink Guy memes?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah. Do you know this, Turbo?
No, I don't know the meme.
I'll send you the meme.
Do you know who Filthy Frank is?
Yes, I know who Filthy Frank is.
Do you know his character, Pink Guy?
That Pink. Okay, I got you. So it's okay.
And Pink Guy's doing this while Bane is across from him, and they Photoshop Batman out and they put Pink Guy in.
Okay, so Bane. So I can't find the memes on my phone right now. But so Bane,
who they replace in Warzone?
It's Bane. It's Bane. It says over Bane. It says 0 Warzone wins.
Oh,
and then over Pink Guy, it says 5,600 something Gulag wins.
Hey, they may be something. Yeah, once they once
people
memes get made.
Like once I no, you're totally right. I think once you have memes being made about your thing, then it's become culturally relevant. And I think like Modern Warfare, like people were playing Modern Warfare, it had a healthy player base, but it wasn't what it like
didn't capture people. It didn't have the
timing,
audience.
The timing's perfect because nobody is doing anything right now. Everybody is sitting at home.
To what degree, though, by the way, John, do you mean? Because Zombies community has memes, but it's certainly not culturally relevant.
Oh, Zombies is culturally relevant. I'm seeing Zombies memes on TikTok.
I have COD. You know what's funny?
But Zombies is relevant in a nostalgia. It's Zombies has fallen into what I'll call the nostalgia cycle.
Okay.
So the memes are more nostalgic.
Okay.
Whereas Warzone memes are because they're current.
Okay.
It's it's popular.
If
I just I was browsing TikTok the other day and I just saw a Zombies meme. And it wasn't like a Lex meme or something. Somebody, Reed, did you see?
Yo,
Lex's
those Lex
memes?
TikToks.
Well, I
were
wonder if that's
insane.
because of Lex. I mean, he's right. He did really well on TikTok. Is that?
Those are funny zombie ones.
Tell me, Reed. We got referenced in a TikTok. Did you see this?
No, I've never seen this.
Zombroz got referenced in a TikTok.
Oh god.
Reed, I'm sorry. You're now part of the TikTok
Reed,
world.
you're gonna like this.
Oh,
I'll send it to you
no.
right now.
I gotta see this. Reed, that's all Reed needs now, 2020, to get on TikTok. That's all you need. Oh,
All
shit.
right, I will watch
TikTok
this
was
live
hilarious.
on show. Oh boy,
Oh,
that's
whoa.
all
Shout
we
out
need.
to I am Mono Aurelio for the TikTok.
All right.
I'm gonna go on my phone.
Doesn't TikTok have all sorts of?
Oh
like,
wait, this is copywritten music. But if you don't care,
well,
I'll sing over it if you want. I'll sing over it if you want.
I will play, but mute. Google. Does the music matter?
I think it really adds to it, but it's not.
What
essential.
song is it?
It's something Boston. Coming Home to Boston. You know, it's like bum ba dum ba dum ba dum dum dum. Or no, this is it. Coming Home to Boston. It's like an Irishy song.
I'm gonna try to play it right now on my phone and see.
Oh, that's cute. This is actually cute. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's so old when I was doing the news update videos when I was a grumpy grumpkin during Black Ops 4.
I think this came out the other day.
350. I don't have a TikTok account, so I can't like it. That's okay.
But if the music really helps. But if you get the,
I'll do the music off stream, so I just don't have those issues. But Mono Aurelio. That's awesome, and it's nice to see people.
Liam trying to sell boogie merch.
Yeah, see, I like that. I was just talking about that recently, so that was funny.
Yeah,
see
it's
Liam
like,
with
and
that.
it was Monty thinking he fixed the universe. This is like a three. He made 2 others. This is a 3-part series on his TikTok.
Oh, cool.
TikTok has series. Like it doesn't stop at the first like stupid TikTok. It goes on. They have it's a Netflix documentary app.
See, that's nice. See, that stuff
is-
isn't blowing smoke up YouTubers' butts, but it's just fun community stuff. I actually went to the COD Zombie Reddit today to see if anything else was going on in the zombies community, and there's a nice Tim Hansen meme on there, but then there was also the same culprits. Culprits is the wrong word. Same characters just taking that opportunity to poop on zombie YouTubers and just like, Jesus, these are people. It was a nice, once again, reality check of people who tune in and out to dislike you, but then you go a page later and you see, actually, that's what I wanted to feature, the creativity again. So where is this? There is a loading screen I wanted to show you guys that I believe they made for Classified that I thought was really cool.
Oh, I saw this.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. So it's like, I love fandoms. I've just found I don't want to identify with fandoms anymore. They are just, their own thing. But this was really cool from Retconner. That's funny. He made a comic loading screen for Classified, and I heard there was another loading screen that was ripped from Game Files recently that I saw around. I don't know if it was real or not, but I like how this shows.
Actually,
I don't know that.
there was actually other stuff that was from Files. I think
he made it. He also made an Alpha Omega loading screen that I saw earlier in the week. This guy is actually pretty good.
Am I going to regret clicking on his account here on stream and see some stuff?
No.
Oh no, there it is. Yeah, Alpha Omega comic loading screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, no, he does. He's
really
done some
cool.
nice work lately.
Really,
Shout out
really
to
cool.
Retconner on Reddit.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was also something else. I don't know because Lex sent it in the group chat. I don't know if it was in Reddit or another website. Did you guys see the non-used BO4 weapons and stuff?
Yep, he DM'd me. I'm gonna make that for a video. I'll link in a second. I'll scroll
Throw
down.
that to me. I don't know that.
I'm gonna get it.
John, pretty much what it is, it's a stab in your rib cage, and why the fuck wasn't that in the game? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's the link. It's
Well,
it's insane.
Okay. Before we get to that, I want to talk about the fun I've been having in Blackout.
Yeah, let's
So,
keep
like,
not Blackout Warzone.
Warzone.
Warzone. So I'm bad. So I'm not great at Warzone.
Yeah.
And I'm not great at shooters in general. So like I lose most gunfights.
Yeah.
So when I win, I gotta get creative. Or so when I kill people, I gotta get creative.
Okay.
So like what I do sometimes, and I've done this a couple times, is I'll take a vehicle and I'll just drive around, and then when I find people, I just run into them.
I think you're gonna say you're gonna attach C4s to cars and you're just driving into.
Nothing
That's
is more
funnier.
satisfying than just finding people and then just driving the SUV straight into them while they just like hopelessly shoot at the driver window, hoping to kill me. but like the weapons are armored, so I can usually kill them in time.
Yeah.
I've gotten multiple kills in Warzone of me just driving around and running into people.
I haven't played multiplayer seriously that much in such a long time. So when I was playing Warzone, I'm such like, and it's also like what 4 times bigger than the Blackout map. Warzone.
Yeah.
So even playing solo, because that was the most I play with solos, and that's like a 50-50 coin toss when you're playing solos. Like you need to have a great time, excited, or you're depressed and anxiety. And that's how I play. I'm like, oh my god, who's behind me? Gotta put my hat. So like battle royales for me at this point, it's like I'm just here to see if I can get a kill. But I get what you mean. I can't win gunfights and shit.
I'm so bad that I go into looking for fun, and like
that's
why I'm like, I'm just gonna drive around and run over people with my car because that's an easier way to get kills. And I had a play earlier where I'm in the gulag, I'm pink guy getting my gulag kills, and then I respawn in, and as I drop from the helicopter, I see the stadium, and I'm like, oh, there's a helicopter on the stadium. I'll take the helicopter. But as I get closer, I see there's a guy like sniping. So I with my parachute, I kind of fly around behind him, and I slowly drop in, and then I land exactly behind him so that he doesn't hear me coming. And then I kill him from behind and take his helicopter. And it was just like the most satisfying sequence ever, where it's like I get my gulag kill. Then I sneak in behind like an assassin and kill the guy, take his weapon, take his helicopter. I had a ball. I hadn't had that. I had a lot of fun. Like I didn't have much fun playing Blackout, but I've just been dicking around in Warzone and having a good time. I'm enjoying it.
I very much have the same experience in my limited play. Both Juan and Jaden were nice enough to invite me to a Warzone game to play and try and get as much experience as I could while playing it. There was a clip already where I saw 2 people and I was waiting, because in multiplayer sometimes, and there's been perks in the packs where your name doesn't display and you don't know if it's an enemy or a friendly, and you're trying to wait for the red names to come up, but it didn't. So that classical training on me, I go through a window and they're both crouching through a house, and I got a double shotgun kill in the first couple of minutes. And the modern feel of the weapons, because they're more realistic instead of the pew pew lasers, really made me enjoy the game. There was the only 2 drawbacks are it feels empty at times to me because it's so super massive, and you just end up, it takes so long, the matches. It's not so much like hop in, hop out. Regardless, they're breaking barriers. Like people were making fun of COD Blackout because you can't even support 64 players. Battlefield's already got that, and they're closing in. They want to do 200 players now, I heard, per match.
I know it's 150 right now. 200.
Yes.
Is a lot.
It's 150, right? Exactly. But that they have said that they want, or at least Juan and Jaden told me that their intentions are to put 50 more players inside the Blackout map or the Warzone map because it's so large. Personally, doesn't take away for everybody else. Doesn't take away, but being that this is the same stuff that I played through on the Spec Op missions, and Spec Ops is aggravating to see the same areas. It's like, I never want to be back here, but it's much more fun in Warzone. The weapons are fun. The systems to get your creative class I found was really cool. Like you said, it's free to play, which is a much better barrier to entry, which is next to none for players to get into. So you don't have much to lose. You don't feel like you've invested that $60, and now you feel less annoyed by less annoyed by any difficulties that come up in game, any shortcomings the game might have, because you didn't spend all that money in some cases when you're approaching it from a free-to-play perspective. Obviously, if you've already bought the game, then you're just like, you might feel entitled that the's an expansion, but again, it's free to play.
You know, another thing Call of Duty should consider, Call of Duty, you should, one, hire me to be on your team, but idea, Call of Duty can put a little thing in that's like, if player has more than like 80 hours played or something, like put in a bunch of time in Warzone, but still hasn't bought the game,
they automatically win every game.
No, offer them Modern Warfare for like $10 off.
Yeah.
You know, like find those players that you've hooked and then be like, hey, you still haven't bought the game. Here's for you, because you played Warzone so much, a nice little $10 off coupon for Modern Warfare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something that'll make us happy. We don't get that often in Call of Duty anymore, John.
Yeah.
That's a hard stretch.
I know, but it's like you might as well Call of Duty, because if they put 80 hours into Warzone, they're clearly not going to buy the game just based off the $60 price. But if you show them a little bit of goodwill and say, hey, you appreciate our product, we'll give you a little bit of love. Here's $10 off. And you got to think that like they're losing that $10 paying for the physical like just to make the physical copy and send it to the GameStop, you know?
I'd say take it a step further and make it a little more cynical. I guarantee they have player profiles. They track all their microtransaction purchases in there, and they find themselves buying a lot of microtransactions inside Warzone. Offer those to the people that are the whales, that are spending the most money, because now you want them to buy into the game and then purchase more microtransactions into Modern Warfare.
I can never see myself buying more stuff in Call of Duty. Like if I told you the amount of money I spent in Advanced Warfare, don't even get me started. But Black Ops 4 though, and Black Ops 3 though, with Divinium, that got me too.
I tried to put together the other day how much money I spent on Black Ops 3. Just between copies of the game and microtransactions, I probably put $700 into that game.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say close to even 1,000, maybe. Yeah, 7, 8.
Because I own 5 copies of Black Ops 3, I think.
Oh, that's a you guys problem. I know Reed has that problem. I remember all that time you're like, I just bought this game again.
I spent at least $250 on a single mystery box edition.
Yeah,
I think I spent $200 on an early copy. And then I have it for each system. So I think I have 5 copies of Black Ops 3 that in total maybe add up to like 150, 350, $600. Plus maybe I probably spent like 150 on Divinium, so like 750. Put a fuck ton of money in that game.
The hope, the wish we have to snap our fingers back in time. The amount of times the addiction started early for me. NBA 2K, but my team and getting cards and stuff. Hey, Grandma, it's my birthday 2 months from now. Can you help me out? And then it got to Advanced Warfare, the elite weapons, and then they just kept saying, "Oh, we know kids have parents' credit cards. They're gonna keep buying our stuff. Let's do it."
I think Black Ops 3 might be the game I have the most microtransactions on ever. There's a mobile game I spent microtransaction money on. I know Fallout Shelter.
Really? I would never have guessed that you'd be dropping money in mobile games.
Fallout Shelter was one of them back in the day. I maybe spent $20 on that ever. And I'm trying to think. I think I bought...
Clash of Clans?
No, I never even tried Clash.
I put a little bit of money into Clash of Clans.
Me too. When you have nothing, then you're like, oh my god, all right.
What it was for me was, I think, the extra builders.
Extra builders, yes.
Yeah, because that was where like I felt like I could put money into, and it was an investment that would last me a while.
When did this get popular? Like, when do you think microtransactions really like hit the market by storm and in the gaming world in general?
Well, wasn't Candy Crush the?
I would say Candy Crush, maybe.
Like the catalyst for everybody getting on
Candy
board.
Crush was like 2013.
Yeah, right? It was before, and then 2015 definitely is when the AAA market adopted mobile ideologies or philosophies in gaming, and it blew up for sure.
In Call of Duty aspect, I know the first one
Definitely
was
COD.
Call of Duty. I know the first big game was Advanced Warfare, and that was in 2014.
Big BO2 is at the end of BO2 is when it all started to fall
the
off the
camos
wheels.
and
BO2 they really, at least from a microtransaction perspective, missed the mark by doing like $1 camos.
Well, that was toward the end. They're testing it for the first
They should have done camo loot boxes.
Wouldn't you want that back though? Like, okay, you want the camo,
absolutely.
you want to pay for it.
No, I absolutely agree. It's just funny. It's funny. Like, I feel like if the marketing guy or whoever's running that could go back in time and slap the developers of Black Ops 2, being like, "You idiot! Selling these camos for $199. That's not how you make them big bucks."
How many party rocking camos? How many magma camos were bought? Jesus!
You fools!
Well, again, that time we went to Treyarch Studios for the Omaze event with me, Lex, Pat, MC Sports Hawk, Lonely Mailbox, and Chucky, I believe. When the developers were talking to us, this was early on. It was, I guess, right before Horizon Draw came out. they asked us like, what kind of camos do you guys like? What do you think people really enjoy? And we're like, dude, anything that's glowing and dynamic carrot modes are like the shit. And I feel like ever since we told Treyarch that, and not just us, obviously, they had tons and tons of data. So I'm not arrogant enough to say it was just us. But the anecdotal story of like, we all were like, yeah, dynamic camos. That's how you could drive. Because they were first asking us about the COD vets and how to try and drive COD vet sales for the donations. Because they have, you know, those dynamic calling cards and camos. And it goes towards the charity. So then since then, almost every significant camo and microtransaction is always these over the top, glowing, dynamic camos that have
things
just like
shooting out.
They just went 100% with it, and I guarantee it works because the stuff does look cool. But now most of them to me look like Jolly Ranchers. Like did you ever in elementary school? Did you ever have people that took Jolly Ranchers or gummy worms? I used to have a kid. I sat at one table. He would put it in their mouth, take it out, and he'd be like, "Look how shiny it is," and you'd be like, "You are disgusting. Please stop."
Dirt bag.
Yeah. So. Yeah. What else did I want to talk about with Warzone? I believe I really enjoyed the gameplay of it. It was interesting to see how the gunplay felt, the interactions between players, the revive systems, like you said, the gulag to try and win. It does seem like this epic of sorts. You have a lot more of these crazy scenarios. Like if you even watched my gameplay today, at one point a car rams itself off the bridge onto frozen ice trying to crush somebody. People are getting out of their car, and there's
sounds like something I would do.
A 4-man gunfight as the car is exploding. It's more, at least in my very few limited experiences, I've had more of the Blackout trailer experience, you know, where it's constant action and stuff going on when I'm in the moment. Now, again, we have sections where we're just running and running and running, but I think that to me is part of the reason I'm not a big Battle Royale fan. I don't play a lot of Battle Royales, so my preference is skewed and biased in a particular direction of I don't necessarily like these games, but when with your group of friends, I'm having a lot more fun with it. I know you can use that caveat to be like, well, if any game's fun with friends, not really. I mean, we couldn't get through Borderlands 3, but to a degree, yes, the friends do make it much better. Were you both playing it solo? That's why I bring it up. I'm curious. Were you enjoying it solo?
It was something, like I said before, multiplayer for me, or just in general, it's like I haven't played serious in a long time. So like as I'm playing, I'm trying to relearn stuff of multiplayer. Like, okay, look at that, look at that. Yep. So that was my experience when I was playing Warzone, just like getting the feel of the new aspect.
Yeah,
for me,
learning.
I've been playing solos, and I'm going to the games a lot less serious because I know I'm not going to last long.
Yeah,
so I make the most. Like once I get into a gunfight, there's a chance I win. But once I get into the second gunfight, I'm probably going to lose just based on my luck.
Sure.
So I have fun with it. And like at one point, I literally got killed by a helicopter. Like somebody with a helicopter just flew at me and killed me with the blades of the helicopter.
Blades.
And what? I think people are having a lot more. I think people are getting a lot more creative with it. Like I don't think in my limited experience with Blackout, I never had a situation in which somebody actually like took the helicopter and killed me with the blades of it. Whereas like with Warzone, it happened in one of my first couple games. And then I started doing that where I'm taking the SUV and just running over people. I found myself in a fight earlier today where it was kind of like a relatively open field. And there was one guy with a gun and I just kept circling around the field trying to hit him. And he just kept dodging me. It was so stupid, but it was fun.
Why do you think, besides it being new, there's obviously the new bias, and when something fun comes out, the endorphins are coming, you haven't played it to death, you haven't burnt out on the game yet.
The DLC syndrome, when the DLC comes out, the 2 weeks are good.
Exactly. So
there might be a little DLC syndrome going on.
Right. So that's why I want to point out, there might be a little bit of that, but is there anything else past the initial, this is new, it's fun, that separates it being more enjoyable and less apprehensive than we were to the Blackout mode?
Well, I think the Gulag, I think, was a great choice.
Okay.
Because it changes up the pace of the gameplay where, like, I get the opportunity to come back. So suddenly I find myself in a high stakes 1v1 deathmatch where, like, if I win, I continue on. Like, I think that changes Battle Royale. really can't think of a battle royale that has done anything like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not just taking the battle royale formula, but they're adding to it in a way that Blackout didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the in the Warzone, you can actually create a class in the class loadout boxes. So now you can actually, so when you go to your loadout boxes, instead of like a Fortnite or a Blackout where you would have to go around the world to get in your weapons, you can have a pre-made class, and you can, when the create a custom loadout drop comes down, that's your guns, and that's where you're comfortable.
I think that's big too, because one of the things that really took Call of Duty to the next level back in Modern Warfare was when they started to add RPG elements to it and building out classes and loadouts. And Blackout didn't really have anything like that. Fortnite doesn't have anything like that, but now Warzone does. And that's just another, adding those loadouts gives it a little bit of differentiation.
There's a couple of things I want to point out with all your responses. The theme I feel like I'm hearing between the lines of both of you here, and the message that's coming to my head is it's finally a battle royale that's Call of Duty style, with Call of Duty's stamp on it. It finally has found Call of Duty's identity. I remember back in Blackout when they added the respawning mechanic in. We've seen that dabbled in Fortnite and Apex Legends. It has been put in there, but now they put the gulag spin completely instead of just a respawn period in a time frame. They've allowed you to use those creative classes, which again is the identity of Call of Duty, and they've changed up the game with the contracts, the bounties, and all these airdrops and supply crates that go into the game in a way that's Call of Duty's identity, where Blackout felt a lot more of, we're trying to be battle royale, new player battlegrounds. What is that called? New player PUBG. Thank you. PUBG.
And I've said this before.
Fortnite.
Blackout was very much, it was like Call of Duty All-Star mode.
Yeah.
You know, or like the All-Star game. We're bringing back all the classic maps, all the look, there's Verrückt. Oh, look, there's
Raid and stuff.
Yeah. Whereas this doesn't feel like the All-Star mode. This feels like Call of Duty's honest take out of Battle Royale.
I was gonna say, like in Blackouts 4, like you said, John, it was like a rush thing. They in the beginning of BO4, they probably didn't even think of a battle royale. We're gonna make this best zombies mode, multiplayer campaign, whatever the hell. And then when they said, okay, we have to make a Blackout, the campaign ain't doing well, and we have to cut it. Blackout came around. I feel like that was like a project at that point, not a set thing. It was like a project for them. All right, let's see how it comes out.
And I don't think, I think not even that, just it's almost like it literally was, where like they didn't have an intention of making a battle royale until midway through the Black Ops 4 cycle.
And how long do you think they had like for that? You think a year and a half?
Less than it was a year or less, I believe, is what
a year or less.
The hints I was getting from stuff, and then what Jason Schreier reported on inside his journal article too, that it was cut when he had the Crunch Time article about Treyarch Studios.
Yeah, no, goddamn.
And you know, it shows in the product too, where there really weren't many original areas. It was all stuff that had already been built up a little.
Yeah.
And then you also have like the map only being able to hold 64 people at launch, whereas other battle royales were doing 100.
Yeah.
It showed in the product. Like they released a working good battle royale, but if you really take a look at what was being given, it's clear it was a rush product.
Yeah, and then you see the reaction, like at that event you guys went to, Blackout, and then all of a sudden, what people were excited for a battle royale thing, but then when they got the game mode, they had no clue. It was rushed. They had no clue. They had no clue probably when they were at the event. The thing ain't even done 50% way through.
I think I heard something similar to that, and that's also been the case in development of the game that was a mass Anthem. When they were seeing it for E3, they were seeing what the game was supposed to look like for the first time. Blackout was along those lines as well.
And I you know, what's amazing too is none of us even, I think, put together that you would have 3 game modes in constant development over a game cycle.
Yeah.
And so something's got to give. And what gave was zombies. Like was something I think if we had really thought critically on, we could have
figured out earlier. Yeah.
But we didn't until it was too late.
Well, to be fair, I was watching the trailers again for the Chaos storyline when it first launched, prior to the BO4's launch, and the Blood of the Dead trailer that launched like the day before the game came out, or the day it did. It's so hard to reconcile how it went wrong for my personal taste. And I think even people who enjoy the game, what I found with my mainframe videos, they still acknowledge the shortcomings of Black Ops 4. To see where it started and where it ended, there's definitely.
But also remember that what you saw at that Call of Duty reveal is literally just trailers, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they didn't have any gameplay on display. Like, they didn't have Blackout there for us to try, I don't think, right?
Only was on multiplayer, no?
Yeah,
just
multiplayer. Which probably isn't that hard to build when you've done it 10 times over already. Like, it's really easy to make a trailer and not have it and have a game nowhere near playable, you know?
Sure. But I was just saying the excitement.
Design the 3D models and just hire some animators to make a trailer. Like, it doesn't even have to be an engine. Probably would look better out of engine than in engine. So it's like it's really easy to fool you with a finished product when that game could they could have just started the Blackout the day before. Actually,
right.
Putting it.
Right. That wasn't the point I was getting after. It was more or less looking at the zombie season and the ideas that they were going through. Like, it seemed like there was clearly a vision and a purpose that the Call of Duty Zombie dev team had for both the Chaos and Ether storylines, and there was this sense of direction I was getting from those trailers, an actual sense of like, yeah, this is going somewhere. I feel it, as you say, though. It's easy to build up excitement in a trailer, but that felt like, because of 3 games and constant development, like we were talking about prior, that vision fell off the wheels because they had a necessity to the game. And what they must do is that, okay, we thought these were cool ideas. We're probably not going to be able to address them in this game. Doesn't mean, again, that the game mode is the worst game ever or that it's unplayable or anything like that. It's not. BO4 has its critics and it has people that enjoy, and to each their own to that point. But you can acknowledge that we started with incredible CGI cutscenes and a direction that the direction got a little fuzzy, and we lost that sort of funding when it comes to the CGI cutscenes, which is reflected in how much effort was being put in the project when we started getting the hand-drawn animations.
Now, the path I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you didn't. I was finished.
The path you're talking about, do you think they had in mind a Nuketown remake and a Call of Duty remake from the start?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Because as I talked to a lot of people about that.
John's been a big critic of that. I think
it was you when I was talking about that. I heard you say that, because people I talk to, I say, like, everybody who gets like excited or like TOG or like Nuketown, they always say like, well, that's why it's so good, because they knew they had to make the idea, but not the map layout. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't think so. Like, I kind of think they knew where they were going. I don't think Blundell and Craig Houston at the time were looking at Black Ops 4 and said, okay, the main 2 the maps are going to be remakes somewhat, you know? I
actually think they do.
John, I'm ready to hear your part. I'm ready to hear it.
No, I think legitimately they do that exactly. And you could see hints of that in the fact that what's in Blackout, well, the fucking Call the Dead Lighthouse. Like, they already had that lighthouse built up. And then you see elements of Blackout, such as you see parts of Green Run. I think at some point did they not throw in the Buried Town, or am I making that up in my head?
The whole Buried's in there.
All the Buried is in there.
That goes to Zombies Chronicles too.
Well, but they probably at some point said, we would like to make Zombie Chronicles 2 and give the Victus maps their own proper remake. So why don't we just kind of get a jump on that and make some elements already that put them into Blackout, so that way they're actually being used, and then we can pull them back when we're doing the remake. And the rumor is that Zombie Chronicles 2 ended up getting cut, and it would have been a DLC 5 or a post-season kind of DLC like Zombie Chronicles was. And I think when they're in the initial planning stages of a game, Jason and Craig and whoever else is on the Zombies writing team will sit down and say, here's our roadmap for the next 16 months, year and a third or something like that. We'll say we're going to do DLC 1, 2, so forth. DLC 4 will be Call of the Dead. DLC 3 will be Nuketown Revisited. I think they do all of that. Now, that doesn't mean it begins production.
Yeah, no.
But like, I think written down on a whiteboard somewhere would be like, all right, we're going to do Call of the Dead and DLC 4. You know.
Now storyline wise,
this is going back 2 years before. Yeah. This could be at the end of the Black Ops season. I don't think like they wrap up DLC 1 and then start brainstorming ideas for DLC 4. I think they already know. They just have it. The production
So you think they already knew we were probably going to end this Ether on Tog the Toten?
Oh yeah, I do.
Like Call of the Dead remake. I don't know, just from like a smart move, like to end Ether on 2 remakes. Just from that aspect.
See, this is okay. Yeah. So this is where I wonder. Maybe this is where the question is more complicated because of the limitations of game development. John's point could be true, and Turbo's point could potentially both be true in the sense of they made it projected that our resources over the season are going to be less. Just like every year we get less and less for every DLC. Blackout is hitting us hard, and we have an idea that we won't be able to make from the ground up new maps for Ether because we're focusing on chaos. So we have to do remasters, but we're doing remasters in the sense of whatever they're making for the Blackout maps, we're going to then be able to remaster them and readjust our resources. So we'll fit that, we'll force whatever they're working on to fit into the storyline, like the Nuketown Island.
Exactly.
That's where they got.
It's like it's I think, and you might not like these decisions. You might think they're terrible.
But it has to happen.
But I think it makes sense if you imagine, look at what got the most love and what didn't, and what got a lot of work continuously throughout the season. Blackout continuously got work.
Updates and stuff.
So one way that the Zombies team can steal resources from Blackout without it really affecting Blackout is if they share assets, being zombie locations, Call of the Dead, Nuketown, Green Run, all that stuff was found in Blackout. And then they could easily say, hey, well, why don't we do this? Because then now Zombies has less work going down in the future. And they can say to themselves, well, then that makes sense. We'll go and revisit old maps. People will have their fun nostalgia. And then they're like, okay, so we have 2 stories going on. We could either do one really poorly and or we could either do both really poorly, or we can do one okay and one really well. And because Chaos was their new baby and it was Craig Houston's original story, that got the most love. That got the original assets. That got the original layouts. That got the 3D CGI cutscenes. And unfortunately, then what happens is Ether gets the short end of the stick. And you might not like that decision. I think most of us I think all of us in this call would agree we don't like that decision.
Yeah.
But I think that's exactly what happened.
And they probably saw the numbers in BO4, like, okay, these are the amount of people playing multiplayer, amount of people playing Blackout, Zombies ain't doing well. Most people playing Blackout, smart move to update Blackout more.
Yeah. And Zombies, unfortunately, I think didn't have enough sway in the building to steal assets from, or to steal manpower from Blackout.
That's crazy to think about.
But what they can do is convince the Blackout team to work on things that Zombies could then borrow. So this is also just me speculating.
I know, but that's crazy to think like that.
The idea is probably both the team would love to have every map to be from the ground up its own unique experience, but they can't. And that's one of the frustrating things of zombie community and their niche is they always want bigger, better, newer assets, but because of the constraints and resources we have to hear over and over again, that's probably why we fell into the remasters. Not that they wanted to make that decision, but they had to make that decision. Now, with that said, Crimea River, it's Activision, who's $1 billion company. I mean, they're putting these artificial yearly deadlines on. Like, there's other management decisions that could be made to potentially solve these issues. But the reality of what happened in Black Ops 4 can be acknowledged.
I think, though, also take Jason Blundell, for example. He's been in this industry long enough that he knows how it works. And Jason is too smart to halfway through the season walk into the office one day and be shocked that half his team is gone. You know, he knows how this industry works, and he knows that things are coming like that, so he plans accordingly. You know, so I do think they put in these design constraints when they were initially brainstorming the product.
All right, do you want to, since we're talking so much about Treyarch, let's talk about COD 2020. I mean, we haven't even dived into that yet. A lot of great information on Warzone. I feel like there's a lot more we can talk about, and the developmental process.
Before we end though, Black
please.
I just want to. James C. Burns is streaming again. I don't know if you've seen my man Woods. James C. Burns.
I saw some of his videos came up again.
He's holding on to Woods like to dear life. He's like, this is my character. I'm gonna keep telling you I played him, and this is it. But in his streams, I learned something fun. I learned something pretty cool. He wrote for Black Ops 4. James C. Burns. He wrote for the specialist cutscenes and stuff.
Oh.
And then I was like, oh, Reed, you're giving me a little that I don't know.
Like, I'm worried. James C. Burns worries me.
Can we take a moment though, to appreciate?
I'll tell you in a moment. What do you want to say, John?
Can we take a moment though to appreciate voice actors and people involved in the Call of Duty franchise that take though like an ownership of their character in such a way?
Yeah, they love their characters.
I think we should show a little bit of love to that.
Oh my god! He actually, because I and it was one of his streams. I was watching it, and then I even commented. I was like, "Oh my god! I never even knew you wrote for Black Ops 4. What exactly?" And he responded. He was like, "Black Ops 4 specialist, the cutscenes, all like the Black Ops 4 specialist mode." And I was like, "Oh my god!"
Things like that are nice to see in here, especially like remember when we had Cameron Dayton on the show, and he was telling us that the woman who played Marie really enjoyed playing that character so much so that she was then suggesting ideas and directions for her character.
I love that.
You know, like I would you know, in a perfect world, every actor would fall in love with all their roles, but that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I always like to hear it's like Call of Duty. It's like the person playing a specific character is actually interested in the role, as opposed to like they're just going to be sent a script, record those lines in an afternoon, and then never think about it again until 3 months later when they get another script in the mail.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
like,
Ether Crew
that definitely happens, especially when they bring in celebrity actors.
Yeah.
But like the Ether
John
Crew,
Malkovich.
they in their own free time decided to make a Christmas album of their characters. Now Activision wasn't very happy.
No.
But I appreciate those people working on the game were invested and interested enough in the product that they just wanted to have fun with it.
Yeah, no, and especially with him, like you can be at Thanksgiving dinner and be like, "Pass the potatoes," and it's like, "Oh, what? Okay, all right." He's great. Why does he scare you though? Why does he scare you?
He's so intense with his character and his love for Woods. It can be overwhelming to me at times. I think he means really well, but he really, really seems like a guy that just doesn't want to let go of Woods. And it's
what I meant.
And to me, it's like, oh man, you know,
you hate to see it, but it's also cool.
It's like the corporation is probably really doing their thing, and poor James C. Burns, you know, I mean, it's Woods is his guy. That is his identity, and it's tough to see that when he's still like, "Hey, it's James C. Burns here." It's like, "Hey, stop. It's okay."
His thumbnail's on fire, though. I gotta say,
yeah. And you see that? That's a horse. We're gonna take that horse in transit.
Oh, all right, that article.
He's a good person. From what it seems outwardly, his love for his character is awesome, and I do like to see that. Even some of the poor Chaos crew, I feel like they got the short end of the stick coming into Zombies, which was such what we thought was a loving community. Either. Yeah, I think they got pretty gypped out of what should have been another session of falling in love with characters. Like I mean, even Takio's voice actor, like we've seen that was really nice to send off on Treyarch's page.
That was a great video,
right? To see all the voice actors grow with all that, and it's fun. It was fun
the
to see.
whole time playing Zombies. I was always like, I would love Nolan North in the booth. I would love to see them in the booth, and then finally at the end I'm like, oh my god, Jesus.
All right, so Black Ops 2020.
Yes, sir.
Let me read the article that was linked to us by Turbo, which is from videogameschronicle.com, written by Tom Ivan. The title is Call of Duty 2020 is reportedly a gritty Black Ops reboot. Sledgehammer also said to be making a free-to-play COD release in 2021. To your point earlier, John, Raven was the one that was making and updating, along with Infinity Ward, the Warzone free-to-play game. A note from a noted Call of Duty leaker. I mean, Gaming Revolution's getting up there now. I'm seeing him reported on news journalism, so he's found his niche. Has claimed that 2020's premium franchise installment will be Black Ops Reboot. Backing up previous reports, the Gaming Revolution says this year's game in development at Black Ops creator Treyarch with support from Sledgehammer Games and Raven Software. Codename Project Zeus, and likely to be named simply Call of Duty Black Ops, the game is said to be a reboot of the Black Ops franchise in a similar fashion to 2019's Modern Warfare reimagining. Updated on March 20th, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's campaign remaster has been rated by South Korea's Gaming Rating and Administration Committee. Oh, interesting. So maybe that will get its release. Anyway, original storyline continues. Character Alex Mason and Sergeant Frank Woods will return in the campaign, although they will be portrayed by new actors. The game will tell a new storyline with some similar threads to the previous Black Ops titles. Just my Black Ops titles. Here we go. The campaign is said to be focused on real-life events of the Cold War and Vietnam War and explore the latter a lot more than the original Black Ops did. It's described as highly realistic and gorier than Modern Warfare, with plenty of shock factor and a notable interrogation scene. Ugh. The campaign will reportedly include a retelling of the Vietnam story from multiple perspectives, including the U.S., South Vietnam, and the Viet Cong. Built with the engine that Infinity Ward Poland made, which was used for Modern Warfare, the game is said to include large multiplayer modes, including 32 versus 32 ground war. Kill streaks including UAV, counter UAV, a dog-based one, a flamethrower, and a bomber plane, which destroys any other sky-based streaks. Are supposed to be in the game, I guess. Operators are said to be returning. Oh, so specialist characters don't look to be. Oh, operators. Never mind.
Yeah, I thought I read it first too. I was like, oh, specialist back, but no, it's operators.
Multiplayer DLC will reportedly be free, as it is with Modern Warfare, but a zombie season pass is being considered. One source told the site that zombies will feature a new storyline, possibly based around Vietnam, which is more realistic and grounded than fantasy stuff seen in recent years. It is unclear if the title will feature Battle Royale mode, although the Gaming Revolution claims Sledgehammer is currently developing a free-to-play Call of Duty game scheduled for release in 2021. Which will apparently be open world and include a lot of Battle Royale elements. To date, publisher Activision has only confirmed that this year's premium Call of Duty offerings will arrive in the fourth calendar quarter of the year. It is said in February that the title is already generating excitement in playtests. According to the U.S. market research firm in the NPD Group, all 4 Black Ops titles released to date were among the top 10 best-selling games of the 2010s. It was recently confirmed that Treyarch co-studio head Jason Blundell, one of the lead creators of Call of Duty Zombies mode, had left the developers after 13 years. And that is the end of the article.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about all this?
Well, when they talk about that free-to-play Call of Duty, I think Warzone will eventually just become its own standalone game that maybe Sledgehammer is responsible for.
Sure.
Or not Sledgehammer, Raven.
Okay.
That's my suspicion.
Okay.
And are you familiar with the concept art from Vietnam-based zombies?
Yes, it was on the Reddit page.
Oh, yeah, if it was on that one.
It's the original Black Ops, and now it's suddenly floating around. I'll link you, Turbo. I have it up.
Yeah, it's been floating around this past week. They could pull ideas from that if they wanted to do a Vietnam-based zombies mode, which I wouldn't be opposed to. But then it sounds like Chaos is dead, so...
Oh, yes, I did. Okay.
Chaos dying is the biggest thing out of that article that would disappoint me the most, despite a reboot being exhaustive to me. I really wish we could get away from Black Ops like we've discussed in previous weeks. Naming it Black Ops 5 would be horrible.
It feels a little bit like Call of Duty is creatively bankrupt.
Right.
Dude.
Right. But
like to have 2 reboots of your franchises in a row.
Yeah,
but don't call it Black Ops. That's all I ask.
Yeah, but when you say that, John, blame the people that buy the games, because now you just told Activision, we want this. The game sold well. It was the best selling of the new generation. From a corporate perspective, how safe a bet is that to reboot the series after you just proved it works?
It works. It absolutely works.
But to your point, you're right. Creatively, probably that's bankrupt.
It feels like, in the same way that all Hollywood does is make sequels and reboots.
Yeah.
All Call of Duty does is make sequels and reboots. When's the last time I feel like we've gotten an original
Infinity
Call
War?
of Duty?
Infinity War?
Maybe? Infinite Warfare?
Yeah.
Infinite Warfare.
And then Call of Duty Black Ops and Modern Warfare, obviously. Those are the last 3.
World War II was essentially a reboot of World at War. If you want to think about it.
Yes, but also no, it was horrible and did terrible campaign in comparison.
But they were returning to their World War II roots.
Yeah.
So you might as well call it a reboot of the World War II scene.
Yeah.
Which then they didn't even continue following. They just dropped Sledgehammer as a developer cycle.
Yeah.
It's like Call of Duty. Are you really that out of ideas.
Yeah.
At least, if they're going to go back and do more Cold War,
Mm-hmm.
why don't you go to the Korean War? You didn't visit that theater at all in Black Ops.
I think there is a clear problem between corporate and creative. I think that's what this shows. Like you just said, are there no ideas? We know that's not the case. We 100% know that. I mean, when with things, the NDA, players, developers are just as creative, if not more creative than us, and they have awesome ideas they want to implement that they can't for various reasons.
On Twitter, Michael Condrey actually tweeted something recently to a response to Nate Shot when Nate Shot was talking about, why is there always so much talk about skill-based matchmaking, and why can't we have such creative things happen in game? Michael Condrey right away answered with, at the end, pretty much a lot more, but pretty much to sum it up, at the end of the day, there's people up top there that we just can't touch. That they just have the say. We can't touch what they say, and we're the people. We're just the machine workers. We're running the cogs. We're making the thing happen. They're telling us, you know what? I know that's what 50 million people want, but no, we like our bow ties nice and sharp, so that's gonna make us money.
Mm-hmm. It's really, Black Ops is a safe bet. It's one of the most beloved Call of Duties. Modern Warfare was a success, so why not? And to that I just say, because it's creatively bankrupt.
Yeah, I'm with you, but a corporation laughs in your face as their stock price continues to rise. They don't care what we think, which is frustrating. And the developers probably feel that same pressure. Maybe a factor into Jason leaving was, I'm not getting to do what I want to do. I mean, we heard him in all the interviews that he's never had an issue with Activision, that they give him all the creative freedom. At Zombie Chronicle interviews, he touted Activision over and over and over again. Maybe he finally hit that wall, part of why he may have left.
The issue is that, like, it's not necessarily the setting that bothers me. It's literally just the name Black Ops.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the name doesn't mean shit.
Yeah. Especially, and Black Ops 4 had nothing didn't even have a campaign, had no story. The only reason it was called Black Ops 4 was because, Black Ops was already a successful franchise. Yeah. So it's in Black Ops 3, really loose connections to the original Black Ops, loose at best, Yeah. So it's like, the names don't actually mean anything. But I would just really appreciate it if they did a Cold War Call of Duty, which I'm happy to see them revisit the Cold War setting, and it wasn't Black Ops. It was, I don't know. Hell, even remember the name Iron Wolf? Dig that one back up.
Yeah.
Iron Wolf.
And I do want to acknowledge that we
that
are
was supposed to be Black Ops 2's leaked name.
Yeah. Oof. We want to acknowledge that. Actually, it might have been Black Ops 1. I'm pretty sure it was Black Ops 1 was Iron Wolf. Because it was between World at War. I remember making videos on it between World at War's release and Black Ops 1's release, but double check me. We do want to acknowledge that we understand that Treyarch got thrown on this a year early, so it might make more sense. It was Black Ops 2. Okay.
I should have mentioned that too.
We should acknowledge that. So that's might be like, we know Black Ops, we have the assets, we have less time, we can't make something from the ground up. That's why we have to make it Black Ops reboot. So that is the point.
Yeah. It's just so painful to see 2 reboots in a row.
Yeah, sure. As a fan, absolutely, sure.
And just to see Treyarch as a studio, like after BO4, like, we're done. All right, we're good. All right, that was a hard year. What the fuck? We gotta make this next one now? Like, I can only feel for them.
Jason, you ever see that? I think it's Homer Simpson's dad. He walks into a bar.
Yeah, puts the hat down,
turns around, pulls the hat out, and walks out. That's Jason Blundell. After the Black Ops 4 season ends, he takes a week off, rest and relax. He's got all the creative juices flowing. He walks into Treyarch's store, talks to the Activision people. They're like, "Get ready for Black Ops." Then he puts his hat back on and walks out.
Like I have a feeling antidepressants were big in that year, I tell you. I have a feeling that was going on.
The crunch time for Call of Duty, Black Ops, and throughout the gaming industry is still a persistent issue and a frustrating one. And it's tough because you want to see these games we absolutely love be made. I mean, the game I tout is one of my favorite games of this generation. It just completely surprised me. It's my first introduction to the horror survival genre. You all know to this point, you're probably sick of me talking about it, Resident Evil 2. I was watching a really interesting review about it as well, is that the game was so close to being like game of the year for this reviewer in particular, but there was stuff that just held it back that potentially if they just had more time to work on it, and they talked about it because they were very open. This is one of the most transparent Capcom was with the development of this game. You could see so much, but some little factors and threads throughout held the game back that if you give it that extra year of polish, the game's probably game of the year and generation changing of what it could accomplish. And then not even a year later, Resident Evil 3 comes out. This is part of that machine that turns out these games are just like, we could make it creatively more. We could make it better, but we have bills to pay. There is the reality that we would be tweaking this forever until it gets released, as Anthem was a good example of that. People trying to constantly fix this game over an 8-year release cycle or 7-year release cycle. So there's got to be that happy medium where you force a deadline to push a game out, where God of War was along that it was going too long, and they're like, we just got to do it. And sometimes that creates crunch that is positive, like the Blades of Chaos ended up getting put into the game while they, in the last year of development versus the first 3 years of development, they had just the axe. They're like, this is impossible, it's a pipe dream, but people had a date and they're like, okay, we got to get it done. But in Treyarch's case, and what has probably impacted development of this game, it's just been nonstop from the time the game was released. Nothing but bugs and errors, constant crunch time, to crunch time with Blackout, to making sure the game is supported all the way through DLC 4, and then as soon as they were done with DLC 4, they were on to developing the reboot of Black Ops. So I feel for these developers in a way that is definitely going to impact my perception of this game, which many consumers probably won't have that issue with. They'll just say, they'll call the kettle black. They'll say, this is what it is. And that's fair. And it's still fair, though. It is fair to say if the game's crap, it doesn't matter how good the game is. It doesn't matter if you worked really hard on something, if it's not fun, if it's not a good project, if a painting doesn't look good, then it's still crap no matter how hard you worked on it. And I'm worried we'll run into that for the next game. Maybe because they couldn't be so ambitious, like we've talked about in the past, maybe that allowed them to streamline a vision that will make Black Ops Reboot a lot more fun, even though it lacks that creativity we want in a brand new IP.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that some of the best factors or some of the best forces in creativity are actually constraints and restrictions.
Yeah.
You know, like I think some of the most clever innovations come from the fact that people are restricted.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, by forcing Call of Duty to come up with a game in about a year and a half might actually, you know, force them to really focus on what they believe will work and not try to do what they did in Black Ops 4, which is everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about Vietnam zombies? More realistic, more gore.
What do we think about the zombies?
Let's now get into zombies. What do you think about it?
Well, if we're doing sorry, Turb, not to cut you off, but if we're doing a more gritty horror inspired zombies, I know somebody Reed would love to see on board. Now that there's a vacancy in the director's chair. Who would that be, Reed?
I think I'm gonna go call Cameron Dane. I think we got a job for him. Let me get him
Cameron,
I'm on speed
what you
dial.
doing right now? You busy? No, I'm not busy. I'm in quarantine.
I know what you could be developing right now. Let's write it up. Let's get Marie involved.
I think he is working on some kind of project.
Oh, cool.
I don't know what.
Is he not a part of Anthem no more?
No,
I don't
he is
think
not
so,
BioWare. He's no longer a part of BioWare.
No longer part of
I don't know, but I don't think he's just jobless right now.
And he isn't, as far as I know. And the reviewer I referred to was Ray Sevick. And apparently that is a very popular reviewer that many people really, really enjoy in chat. So, yes, I just ran into him for the first time. First video I saw from him. He was excellent.
LinkedIn actually does say he's at BioWare, so I don't know what he's doing.
Oh, no, we did that last week. We checked on BioWare, and then they corrected us on Twitter. He announced he was no longer with BioWare, and he was with another project. So he just didn't update his LinkedIn.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
what
either way, Cameron, if you want to work on Call of Duty, again,
come on, boys.
I know somebody who would be very enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, Greg just went in chat. Oh, God, please no. And then Alejandro said Rizzo propaganda.
But what do you guys think, though, we're actually gonna get chaos right away? Chaos, no?
I want chaos, but I mean, who cares what I want?
Okay, but chaos has also shown itself not to be bound by time.
Yeah.
So they could
get stuck in Vietnam. Maybe for the launch.
I have no idea how it would work in the story because they seem to really want to draw on mythology rather than say history. Not that history isn't mythology, but you can kind of make a difference if you know what I'm saying.
In previous times, there was also rumors about a whole Ether reboot. How like now an Ether world can be rebooted. There's like 3 main things where it's like circling around.
To your point, the tip in the article doesn't even cite a name or a credible source. So this seems like, as we've known before, absolute rumors. That's what grain of salt.
Yeah, anytime it says it's from this source, it's from that source. I got this source. It's like, okay, but there's no.
We've had the journalists that try to break, or the self-proclaimed journalists with no credentials that try to break Call of Duty Black Ops 4 stuff before launch, said all sorts of stuff, and Jason rumors and his alcoholic problems and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like you have
total nonsense, by the way.
Yeah, you have horrible crap like that coming up, and that's what's going to be spawned out of here. And some of the stuff will be real, and then some of the stuff, the leaks that they get won't be true. So even if the leak was true at the time from a playtester, as we know, a month out, the game can look drastically different than what gets finally shipped. Things can go through crazy changes in the last month till release. So anything we hear as well in these leaks, take it with a grain of salt. We don't know. No one but Treyarch knows where they're going with this. And even, I bet, a lot of developers go into work going, I don't know where the hell this is going to go.
Today?
Yeah,
and
we'll see.
And also, especially when, you know, like when it comes to Call of Duty now, people get beat out of shape on, oh my God, what is it going to, oh, this leak said this, but that leak said that. I don't get worked out of shape no more. Whenever the game comes out, when the trailer comes out, that's when I see what's going on. That's what I tell people. I'm like, everybody's like, oh, Turbo, what do you think? What are you going to do if that happens? Nothing. If that happens, that happens. I play the game. That's what happens.
People will ask me, they'll be like, John, what do you know about this upcoming Call of Duty? And I'll go, pretty much jack shit.
I got the email from Treyarch, matter of fact.
I mean, I just got off the phone with the president of Activision, and he told me every
every time in the past. I gotta tell you one before we get off that topic.
I just wanted to say, like, you know, I see these leaks, and I just look at them and I go, oh, that would be good.
All right.
Bad. Or that's interesting. I wonder if they'll do something with that. You know, so it's like I see the Black Ops reboot and I kind of roll my eyes a little and go, this corporation's creatively bankrupt, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
And then I move on with my life.
Right.
That's how I view leaks. But it's funny, I'll have friends who ask me, like, John, what do you know? And I'll be like, jack shit.
My father used to always, from Black Ops 3 to Black Ops 4, anytime there's a talk about Treyarch or Call of Duty, he'd see a commercial for it and he'd be like, hey, you should go ask Jason for a job. I'm like, Dad,
I remember you saying that.
Dad,
like,
that's not how this works at all. And he's just like, just call up Jason. I bet he could use you. He could fly you out and you could consult. I'm like, Dad, no, they have home mark. No, you don't understand this at all. So that's the outside views. I'm just like, oh, you're adorable. I love you.
Dad, I haven't made a game in my life.
Yeah, why would they ever? No, they don't care. Not anyway. With the comment in chat I liked is that the community doesn't know what they want, and I think that was a great factor, and
some truth to that.
Potentially to the mainframe episode I want to do for this week. Chroma, my editor, Chroma Stone, he's amazing, he suggested that I tackle the topic that we ruined Call of Duty Black Ops 4. That's not exactly what he said, but that's how I've now interpreted it, in a sense that the community on launch said the game was too hard. And one of the biggest criticisms of Black Ops 4 is it's too easy. So on launch, we cried and bitched and complained that we needed more health, there's no jug, 3-hit system's unfair. And then as soon as they gave us the 4-hit system, the game was too easy. Specialist weapons broke the game. Yep. So potentially there's a factor to at least acknowledge. Obviously, it's a exaggerated title. If I'm going to say we ruined Black Ops 4 or whatever I'll choose the mainframe title to be, it's exaggeration. But the point is, we contributed, as Treyarch tried to listen to everybody and give everybody what they wanted during that game, to it falling off the rails. A system in which was balanced potentially for a 3-hit system, we made a 4-hit system, and that never changed and completely ruined the gameplay loop throughout the entirety of the season. Obviously, Treyarch is big boys and girls, and they could have decided to say no and not listen to us, or change it as time went on. But that's something to consider, is listening to the community caused a lot of what Black Ops 4 potentially its greatest faults were, with 2 storylines and all that happened.
Yeah, that whole dividing in the beginning sucked it.
Well, remember when Jug was gone and the community was furious?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we can all agree that by the end of Black Ops 4, it wasn't like we were still heartbroken and missing Jug. You might still want Jug in the game, but I think a lot of the community life went on.
Exactly.
I didn't realize that Jug wasn't actually this staple.
I think it's a lesson the community needed to learn, and I'm not sure if they did or not, but I hope I took that lesson away from it is move on. All this stuff, all the bitching, all the complaining, all the YouTuber videos, all the nonsense. Just like, don't take the game so seriously anymore. The Ether storyline isn't something that we protect or anything like that.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Enjoy it for what we have and what it can be. Feel free to criticize and say the things you do and don't like about it and how it can be improved, and all that type of stuff is fine. But to see how we cannibalize each other, not even 2 years ago, was eye-opening and definitely a changing experience for me and the community. And I'm hoping this game can shed that. If it goes into Vietnam zombie mode, fine, let's try it out. Let's see what happens.
Do you think with a whole new storyline?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Why not? I mean, they keep rebooting stuff. It's like, it's worrisome because what we talked about with Fatigue in the past with IW zombies and World War II zombies, getting a new story every year, it wasn't sticking. And then we couldn't get invested. So that could be a new problem if they drop Chaos immediately and jump into a new one.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
but
that's
I feel like this year helped though too a lot. The gap year,
definitely.
That's gonna help, I think, too.
Definitely.
Remember though that zombies and every iteration of zombies we've seen has never been bounded by time. So you could very easily reboot the Ether storyline with a group 935 that was actually established during the Cold War.
Yeah, they can just say that. Yeah.
You could also take Chaos and throw them in the Cold War. Because they are not bound by time. Yeah. So zombies has never been bound by time. So this could be anything from an Ether reboot to a whole new story to Chaos.
Yes.
I'm inclined to think that it's still Chaos.
I hope so.
Because I'm just guessing that Craig Houston is involved in the project, and I can't imagine that you'd have somebody like Craig who's really interested in this story that they've already invested a bit of time and money into would just throw it away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it is Chaos, I hope it's just Chaos. If it's another year of dividing the community, and if they're that fan or that fan, and this is the big thing too, Black Ops 4, you spent so much time on Ether that now when you're trying to finish it, you're trying to put your baby to sleep, now's the time you want to add in a new storyline? Now's the time? Like that, I feel like they hurt themselves before they even started by doing that.
Certainly.
They jumped the shark.
Yep. For a gritty, more realistic Vietnam zombies, I'm excited to have normal weapons back in zombies. Like, to have the Vietnam era weapons that really made me enjoy Modern Warfare again. Like I've criticized in the past, I don't like the pew-pew.
I hate future guns.
Yeah. Pew-pew future guns. So this might bring zombies to a feeling that even lacked in Black Ops 3, that is touted with the golden era of the zombie community. The guns still, a lot of them felt very future-y, and you didn't get that quite the satisfaction loop with a lot of the weapons that we might get to feel. That's why World War II is appealing to me in a lot of respects, is a lot of those weapons felt really fun to use because it was back to that classic tower defense of the past with the mechanics familiar to us in that setting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, yeah. If it is also a new storyline, like I said, this year of the gap of zombies, I feel like people forget about that too. The gap, because like you said, we got zombies. Let's take it easy with the zombies. Now we got the gap here. Not even one thing of zombies in Modern Warfare. Not even like a mode where they try to make like, oh, what's that? Not even that.
It was good.
So I feel like that people forget too, like and people go back customs, BO3, of course, but a new, fresh look. We haven't had that at that time, going to be 2 years.
Yeah. Do you think we get one map on launch? Forget DLCs, on disc.
I would hope. I don't know. I would hope one, to maybe they learned that lesson. Like maybe staying small is better, going bigger is more dangerous. I don't know. If John, if there's one on disc for like, what do you think? Is it gonna be one like the main storyline, or they go like different with the second one, like a whole?
I think it's like one main map and then one smaller map. Think like a Kino.
Or like a survival.
World War II, the Final Reich. Kind of Final Reich, Grossenhaus. Grossenhaus too small.
No, if Final Reich, Grossenhaus is also a similar model they could do. Like Shadows of Evil, the Giant. You know, like it just seems like 2 maps on launch, one that really gets the full love, and then one that's good. Is kind of what we see. I feel like that's the formula.
Yep,
I think there's a great balance in BO3, but Shadows of Evil with the Giant, because Shadows of Evil, you put your time to get Easter egg storyline.
Yeah, no, it was a really good balance. Like the Giant felt like a survival map, whereas Shadows
even before you didn't know there's an Easter
egg.
egg. Even before you didn't know there's an Easter egg, you were trying to look for it, but at the end you were like, it's just a small map I enjoy playing because it's the Giant.
And I think that's good to have. It's a nice balance to have a map I can just pick up and play, and then a map I need to actually invest a little bit of time into.
Well, there's the key word there. I think we have more time to invest in 2 maps than 4. On launch, it was just too much to invest in, and nobody could get invested in.
Yeah.
We were spread too thin, and each map didn't have enough to get the person that wanted to solely focus on Blood or Classified.
Yeah, we had to ask ourselves who's taking care of. I remember like the community was like, all right, Noah and them are taking care of Blood. We're going to like literal community was dividing it, and especially themselves what they were playing. I remember I was like, okay, like for videos, I'll do this, and this. Yeah, it just split right from the beginning, even before the game came out. We were having questions of what are we gonna do before we even have the game in our hands.
Yeah. How'd that feel, Turbo, though, for you during that season on launch? Like, were you more toward the Chaos or Ether leanings throughout the year for like what you were always jumping on and your enjoyment towards, or what'd you play more of, Ether storyline or Chaos?
So when the game came out, I played a lot more of Chaos because I wanted to know what they brought new to the game first right away. Because I had an idea Classified is Classified,
sure.
Blood of the Dead is Blood of the Dead. The remakes, I've seen them in some aspect already.
Okay.
I'm going to go into a whole new thing. I played all those new maps, done some of the Easter eggs. And then when he played Blood of the Dead Classified, he saw the stuff that went wrong there. During that whole season, I just wanted them to give us the ending because the big thing before Chaos even was the trailers, the announcements, before the game even was mentioned, what was the one thing on our minds? How is it going to end? It has to be the end. How is it going to end? We didn't even have a thought of another goose chase. We got to go on with another story mode. So during that whole time period for me, majority was 1, how do I keep this creative for videos and content? 2, the main question, where are we going next? What's the DLC going to look like? And then once the stuff started happening with the the news coming out that stuff's going bad and Treyarch stuff aren't doing good, then we started seeing that with the DLCs. So pretty much for me, it was pretty much like bunny hopping on, okay, I'm happy. Oh, what the hell? I'm happy. Okay, what the hell?
That's a fascinating season to go on for you in that respective. Again, we've talked about that, the fact that everyone's waiting for the ending, and that is just such a disservice to the Chaos storyline, and it being forced out of order because of recording issues. All that is so frustrating.
What recording issues?
Craig Houston talked about that on the Dead of the Night live stream, that they couldn't get the voice actors, celebrities in time.
Launch.
Yeah, it was supposed to be in order. It would have been in order. It would have been Dead of the Night, and I think Voyage of Despair, or 9. It probably would have been 9 on disc, and then Voyage would have came out afterwards. So that way you would
imagine Voyage as a DLC.
yeah. So then they wouldn't died, and again, linear story is a much better one to tell. I remember they kept trying to sell us on like, ooh, you got to guess the order. It was a disservice to the Chaos.
That's just creative market. That's just trying to be creative with your marketing.
Yeah. It's a disservice to.
You tell us how it went.
You decide.
Yeah, well, it feels like they're trying to, and I know that wasn't what they were trying to do. It's just they were trying to make lemons out of lemonade. But it feels like, oh, remember when the zombie storyline was mysterious and you had to figure it out on your own? Well, we're doing that again.
Yeah, we're done with it now, though. We're done.
It's a different beast. Let's talk more about the Vietnam zombies itself. Do you feel like it would be very Shinonuma-esque? Do you think it's going to be too familiar to Zetsubo no Shima and Shinonuma when we go into these Vietnam-type zombie maps? Or do you think they're going to be plopping us into the cities of Vietnam? Or are we going to be experiencing the swamps and the jungles? I don't know. Obviously, there's swamps in the country.
So, because Vietnam isn't just like swamps.
Right, that's what I was about to say, is there's swamps in there, but there's also temples, and Cambodia and Laos have these rich histories inside their countries. Do you think we'll get to explore more of that aspect of Vietnam zombies? I would love to see temples. I love me temples.
I mean, Cambodia and Laos are not Vietnam. I mean, they're in the same region, same part of the world, but they're separate countries.
I get that, but the zombies probably could be, if it's a Vietnam zombie game, they might be able to play around with the area, like you said. They're not bound.
But you have, like, you can go to Hanoi.
Yeah.
Like you're not just limited to like swamps. You can go to Ho Chi Minh City. Like you could do city style maps. You can do swamps. You can go to temples.
They have rich jungles too. I mean, Vietnam was jungle warfare.
No, I know, but like when people think of Vietnam and they'll think of like what you see in the movies. You're fighting in swamps and stuff, and that was a lot of fighting in Vietnam. But we're not just limited to that setting.
Good.
I think we should mention that.
What do you think about the implementation of specialist zombies? Chaos seemed to be just the name. It was chaotic when there were so many different specialists on the map at one time for these special infected zombies. Should we see that toned down in the next installment? Do you think it will be? So like, what is your preference? And then what do you think will happen?
I want variety in zombies.
Okay.
Like what I don't want though is like things like the EMZs or whatever they were called, where like they're gonna hit you and then something pops up on your screen and you're getting hit a couple times a minute.
Yep, just like the denizens as well.
Like I don't want it to be annoying.
Yeah, you don't want annoying throughout the game.
But it's not that outrageous to say like you got your base zombie and then maybe you have another base zombie, but this one has a different style of pathing. And then you have a gas zombie that just has a trail of gas behind it. And when you shoot it, some gas will explode. But so long as you're not shooting it 2 feet in front of you, it shouldn't be an issue. I think what they actually really should just avoid is keep multiple types of zombies, but avoid any type of zombie that impairs vision.
Sure.
That'll pop up on the HUD.
Yeah.
Because what'll happen is that'll get repetitive really quickly.
Yes.
Speaking of repetitive, I would love to not see what like World War II did, in my opinion. Like World War II, where like the same, like Rusling, like the same zombie throughout the whole entire map. It's like, all right, take it easy, guy. We got that in 2 maps, and that's it.
I didn't mind though. World War II had the bomb zombies, the ones that were
they weren't bad.
And I like them too because I can get clever with them. Like if I shot off the bomb, I will wait till the horde's standing over the bomb and shoot the bomb.
Maybe that stuff too. Specialist weapons that even help you along the way, like maybe like a
zombies.
A slime zombie that as the slime's on the floor. If you put zombies with the slime, they actually had damage to it.
Because now you're putting the creative tools back in the player's hands.
Give me zombies that can help or hurt me.
Yes,
but we'll try to hurt.
A whistling, on the other hand, that doesn't do anything. It's just a bullet sponge, and it just annoys you and breaks up your pattern and disrupts the gameplay.
Give them all the same relative health, but change their personalities and their
abilities. Personalities too is a good one too.
Yeah,
you don't see zombies with personality, but like you saw a little bit of that in World War II though, where you had like the whatever they were called. You know, the guys that had the buzzards.
The buzzards? The buzzards.
They had a bunch of flies on them and stuff. They were
the pests.
Awesome.
The pests. Yep.
The pests. Yep. Like you had the pest zombies, and they, not that they had a different personality, but they felt like they did. You know, they were a little bit faster, and they were just dive bombing you.
Yeah, and they were biting you. They couldn't hit you with their hands because they didn't have any. And some of the specialists were the super special zombies. I keep getting caught in specialists as well. But the one in the Darkest Shore, I like them up until a point where their health gets out of whack during the boss fight. The health scaling seems to be one of the bigger issues with the tanky bosses, especially when you get to round 50 and there's 15 whistlings in a round. That's where it starts to be, this isn't fun anymore. The Denizens, I was playing Transit recently on the charity for Blade, and Denizens are just a horrible idea. Such a bad concept. Like even years later, still revisiting it. Constantly it's screaming in your ears. Why as a player do you want to hear something constantly screaming in your ears? You're constantly obstructed in your vision. You're constantly fighting them while you're just trying to get to one location or another, and it takes this unnecessary amount of time. Those type of decisions, I think, don't benefit zombies, just like an EMZ just smacking you every 5 seconds until the player's annoyed. So I think there's got to be some limit. This George Romero type of zombies where they're shamblers instead of super sprinters might be the better option. You don't have to keep going bigger, faster, better if you can implement stuff that's more creative, stuff that has more personality, and that really challenges players on how they approach the mechanics of the game instead of I can't outrun them. Like, you got to deal with these zombies now. Like, what's your option to deal with super sprinters? You just got to kill them. You can't outrun them.
Yeah, just
there's nothing more to that.
But give them really low health.
Yeah, or maybe they don't do as much damage. Or like you got to do something where it makes them unique, and you're adding something to the gameplay. Just making something where It's the exact same outcome every time, and there's nothing to do with it. That's not the same with what you point out on the bomb zombie. The bomb zombie, you might be able to take out a horde, you may be able to drop it down later for something else. It could be part of an Easter egg, and you could just kill them like normal. You have a lot of options available to you, which I think is a value.
And seeing Vietnam zombies, and if we go further to like, let's say now storyline and let's say gameplay wise, would you guys like in a new, Vietnam zombies, the same format of Easter egg boss fight, or would you like some things change in that aspect?
I've always been against oversaturation of boss fights. Why not change it up map to map? I know people still think the Darkest Shore is garbage because it didn't have a boss fight, and then also Alpha Omega's okay, even though technically it didn't have a boss fight, and Tag Der Toten didn't have a boss fight.
Pretty much Alpha Omega was like a runaround, pretty much.
So smart guy pointed out very clearly while I was enjoying it and having fun. He's like, "These are just soul boxes, Reed. Like this isn't fun." I'm like, "Thanks for telling me that."
Crushing them any happiness you had on the map.
I was having fun, and then you reminded me about how I was having fun wrong. Thank you for that. But I got over it. But it's something that makes the boss fights all that more special and all that more interesting when you don't do them the same every single time. That's why a Nikolai boss fight and a dragon and the DE keeper fights are more fun and interesting and compelling. It's because we didn't have them before. So I hope we get away from those formats. I hope they can allow us to try new things like even the side Easter egg quest. We don't have to have the nostalgia of the past blinding us to be like, I wish it was like it was before. But just shake up the formula to a degree at which that you got to, because they did shake it up the formula, but they really overhauled Black Ops 4 in a way that made it very foreign to all players, and it made everybody divide themselves, and it created a lot of tension in the community. They have, and it's not like be innovative, but they got to take the smart, calculated risks, right? There is a difference between completely revamping a system and taking calculated risks to change the formula of certain maps. Like we know we want to have these beats, but how do we do that where it's not the same beats that we see, like when you tell any narrative or when you make a game? And that's what I'm hoping for.
And even changing the formula of that whole thing, you can even go back to what we were saying before, BO4, we were getting crammed with content at the beginning that hurt them in the long run. What about now, the Black Ops where we're going to get the new zombies? If we do, what are we going to see when it comes to what content, how much content we get? Because if we get a small amount of content in the beginning of the game and just in general going on throughout the whole, how it plans out, that could help. And that could help itself too by them, the devs not being crammed on so much stuff they got to get done. So they, at the end, let's say DLC 5, we do get a Zombies Chronicles 2. And then let's like IW, a boss fight mode. They have time to do stuff afterwards to give us game modes and stuff. And game modes too is another one. Game modes too, besides Russian stuff we got in BO4, game modes that, kind of the community wants. Could be cool too.
Well, that's an interesting point you bring up there with game modes, Turbo, is it's something that we hoped would have been expanded on. When people are satisfied with Black Ops 4, I find that the evolution is what shocks me. We started with 2 game modes, right? We had Russian Mutations. And Gauntlets were added on later, which was cool, but then it didn't keep evolving.
There was no replayability to it.
Yeah, and Gauntlets didn't evolve past even their hardcore mode, didn't even finish in their season. So something that people talked about, Grief was going to be added, and some other game modes that Jason even teased to us during the charity event John attended. These things didn't evolve, just like we didn't get more specialist weapons throughout the season. We didn't see these brand new mechanics. Yeah, but these are new mechanics that they want us to adopt, right? They want us to be all about this new perk system. They add a couple new perks, and it's too many perks. It's just so many perks in the game, which is shocking. But when you have all these options, instead of on a map restricting you, you have 16 perks, and then people start gravitating toward the same builds or the same 4. And even when you add a brand new one, it's not generating the excitement it once did with the PhD flopper, stamina up, dead shot,
because once you got a new perk, there was a new machine, there was a new jangle.
Yeah. And it gets back.
It had a personality to it.
Yes. And then the sandbox, there isn't personality. You're just playing zombies with all these different shapes now. The maps are now not an identity. They don't have more to them besides the characters you're playing on. They're not unique. They're not special. From a perspective that I want to offer, that I think a lot of players recognized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
All right.
Topic time?
Go ahead. Let's get into
topic time.
Topic time. Cam the Man 21 says, I know this is old, but I play the original Assassin's Creed game, like 1, 2, Brotherhood, and so on.
Yeah.
if you've played them, which assassin do you think made the best character? Mine is Ezio. I only played Assassin's Creed 3 once and I hated it.
I only played Unity.
That's like the worst one. 3 is like
Unity?
the worst. No,
Yeah,
3.
3 is the worst.
You literally
That's
picked
my-
like the worst one.
that is my experience with the series. That's when I first played it. I hated it.
Ooh,
I was so mad with the game too. I'm like, I'm just gonna finish this stupid game and get it over with.
Yeah.
Ooh, I should buy an Assassin's Creed during the quarantine. Ooh.
Yeah. Get
Go
it.
play the.
What's a
from
good
what
one I should buy?
understand,
What's a good one?
2.
I hear Black Flag is good.
Yeah, and Black Flag. And the
2
new
and
one,
Black Flag.
the Egypt one, actually I heard save the series. They took time off. They used to be like Call of Duty. They were releasing
Every year.
Assassin's Creed every year, and then it wasn't doing well. I think Unity came out and everyone hated them for it. And then they were like, okay, let's take some time and regroup. And then about 2.5, 3 years later, they brought that one, Origins, I think, Assassin's Creed, whatever. It was the first one.
Yeah.
And it did really well.
I thought I would like the series. I played 3. I hated it, and I said no thanks. And I know people say it's the worst one, and that I should try the others.
So
But
weird.
that game turned me off from the series, so I'm just not bothering.
I played only 1 and I couldn't get all the way through it, but Ezio is just the coolest.
Yeah, how long are
Fun.
they? How long are Assassin's Creed?
They
Very
can be very long.
20+ hour games. So
And then plus all
Odyssey.
these bunches, a lot of side missions. Although I hear a constant complaint about the game is, there's maybe 200 side missions, but there are variations of 6 different missions.
yeah,
So you
That
got 30
happens a
training
lot.
missions and 5,
Yep.
kill these people missions.
Yep.
So I think if you like it, you'll like it. If you don't, you won't. I think that's the general consensus of Assassin's Creed. It's for certain types of people.
Yeah.
Mhm. Cool.
Next one, Ultimate Noob 23 says, "What's the glitchiest game you've ever played?" I'm having a lot of glitches
Ooh.
with Gears 5.
I heard good things about Gears 5.
Glitchiest game. I don't know. I mean, the blue screens weren't cool. I didn't like the blue screens.
I was going to throw out there Black Ops 4.
I mean, because to me, I really don't have a big. Before Call of Duty, I was a big sports guy. So I mean, MLB 2K MLB's graphics maybe how they sucked and they would always fluctuate throughout the game.
Yeah, I had issues with those. Definitely
I don't know.
MLB The Show games over the years. Homefront, what a garbage piece of crap game that was. The original Homefront. I'm gonna look at my
I
Steam
almost feel
library.
like most games come out polished enough that they don't feel super glitchy.
Oh, that's too broad a statement. Most games Johnny J plays come out.
Yeah, most games I play are,
NBA 2K's face scans always don't make you look like the face scan. It makes you look like you
Well, you
had
know
a
what,
couple
while we're
of
on-
car accidents.
on the 2K, you talk about like their story mode. That thing is, that is just hilarious.
The last one I played.
WWE. Oh my god, so many of
WWE.
those
Oh,
games.
I
So
used to
many
play
of those.
WWE on the Wii with the nunchucks, baby.
Oh,
with
dear
the
God.
nunchucks. I was Chris
Oh,
Jericho,
my
baby.
God.
When the Intercontinental looked at the Intercontinental, and I was just going. Oh, breaking this. That was like Zumba for me with the nunchucks.
while we're talking about Wii and just glitchy games,
Yeah.
I swear to, remember when the Kinect was a thing
Yeah.
and new?
Yeah.
I
Oh
swear
my
to God,
Oh my god,
every,
Star Wars Connect.
every
Oh
Kinect
my
game,
God.
every Kinect game was basically broken.
Yeah.
Then they had
very
like the
few
workout
Kinect
thing.
Very few Kinect games were actually playable.
Connect
remember I
Sports,
bought,
Connect
like-
Summer Olympics.
I bought like Kinect Deca Sports, thinking maybe it would be like the Kinect version of Wii Sports.
Yeah.
Not a single sport in
Yo,
that
Wii
game
Sports
was
needs
playable.
to win something. Wii Sports needs to
It's one
win
of the
something.
Wii
highest
Sports, in
One of
my
the games
opinion,
you go
time.
back
is like
to.
game of the decade.
Come on, baby. I would go play
Legitimately.
bowling right now. Let me give me a goddamn Wii. I'm
Minecraft,
playing
Wii
tennis.
Sports.
Yeah.
I would say game of the decade for the 2000s, either Minecraft or Wii Sports.
Definitely.
Wii Sports, man. The nubs for arms in baseball. Home run.
Oh,
Mhm.
so
Turkey.
calming. So calming, that voice. Oh,
But then when you get
Ah.
into an intense game of tennis and you're like,
Yeah.
And the nunchucks always broke on me. Always broke. Nunchucks
I never had a
worked.
broken. I never had a
Go
broken
fuck yourself.
nunchuck.
Always broke for me. Happy you had a great time, not for me.
You had a bad
Do you know
nunchuck
how many
guy.
times I got blamed by my sister? Of course, I'm the youngest one. Why you broken? Not good times. Not good times.
Turbo, you just had a
probably
bad
broke
nunchuck guy.
But well, I
PUBG
wanted the
too, by the
nunchucks. And I
way.
wanted a box.
PUBG was glitchy as heck.
PUBG.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That thing was constantly in alpha or open beta when before.
Wasn't Daisy really?
Yeah,
glitchy
Daisy
too?
as well. Yeah, these are all
Mhm.
games. Arkham Knight, I'll acknowledge when it first released for PC, that was a big one. I remember that was a whole scandal at the time.
All right. Next one, Flips at me says, have any of you guys played Doom Eternal? I just beat it the other day. It was incredible.
Everyone is touting about it. Smart Guy threatened me to play it. I'm just not interested in Doom Eternal right now. I will eventually probably play it. I just have such a backlog. I have Jedi Fallen Order. I own these games. Control, The Outer Worlds, there was Death Stranding. I have 4 of those games that I got to get through. I feel like adding Doom Eternal onto that is just too much. I want to play Resident Evil 3 this Friday. It comes out Friday! Sorry, Resident Evil 3. These are the games I'm gonna end up playing beforehand. It's just Doom Eternal seems so violent to me right now.
I might get shot.
Which is ridiculous to say, but it is so violent. And I'm like, I'm okay at the moment.
I might get shot for saying this, but what exactly is like a Doom Eternal game? Like, what is it, like FPS? Is it like a
FPS? It's an FPS.
Doom is like one of the OG.
Original. It is the FPS.
Really?
And the glory kills are just a bit much for me right now.
It kind of defined the genre back in like the 90s.
The 90s?
Like it was, like I'm talking like it was one of the first 3D first person shooters. And people would talk about every subsequent shooter after that, they would call it a Doom clone.
Yes, it is. It's like the original
so
PC.
Bit of gaming history for you. Doom is like the OG FPS.
Yeah, so it's like I give all the credit to it. All the people that love it, I absolutely adore it. But something's happened to me in my wimpy old age as I become a boomer zoomer or whatever you want to call it now. Like Last of Us, the executions, I remember in high school, me and my buddy Ryan were like, yeah, gritty realism. Oh, man, this stuff is crazy. It's fun. Then going back to playing Last of Us and seeing the executions, I'm like, holy Jesus, I didn't want to see that. Oh, my God. The people are like, I have a family and kid. Bam! Blow his face off. You're like, fuck! I'm just trying to play video games. Jesus! Doom, I'm seeing that very much where you're going up and you're rewarded for doing the glory kills. I'm like, I think I'm okay, even though they're demons and you're literally killing demons from hell, which is you're doing God's work. It is.
Yeah, they're not real, Reed. They're not real.
Brutal.
They're not real.
Yeah, I know they're not real. It's just a bit much where I'm like, I think that's a lot of violence for me right now. I think I'll come when I need that. I'll go there and I'll join everybody in the fun. But
you know what game that don't have violence? Doritos Crash Course.
Doritos Crash Course. Is that a game? Is that
You don't know Doritos Crash Course?
Oh no.
Xbox 360, midnight, have friends on board, nothing to do, you're sick of zombies or MLB 2K9, and you're going on Doritos Crash. It's a free, it was a free Xbox 360 marketplace game where there was demos. Remember demos?
I do.
Yeah, I remember
Doritos
demos.
Crash Course was on everybody had Doritos. Chat, come on. Doritos Crash Course was the #1 game at the time. It was a wipeout. It was pretty much a wipeout, and you converse your friends in the game, but it was called, because Doritos sponsored it, Doritos Crash Course. Dude, when I tell you
it's like
that
Ultimate Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, Wipeout Ninja Warrior.
It looks like actually this could be a fun game.
Oh,
he's offended. Johnny offended him.
Johnny J. Red Austin collab vid. Let's do it. Come on, let's
Honestly,
go.
I wouldn't be that opposed to it. I just gotta go find
John
my 360.
John versus Reed. Let's do it.
This looks ridiculous, but also, oh my God, look at how fast his feet are going.
There's a lot of chicken sounds when you die and shit. So yeah.
This is Xbox like Nintendo.
Not even
Nintendoized.
No microtransactions.
I'm in. I'm in.
Nothing like that. Your wallet can stay closed. It's fine. You're good.
It's a
Reed says my wallet can stay closed. I'm in.
I'm in.
There's no Epic Edition.
Oh, I see Uncle
But
Sam.
I wish there was.
I wish there was a supply drop.
All right, next one. Joe E. Mr. Burger says, "Have a wonderful day, gentlemen. Hope you're all staying safe and happy amongst all the craziness."
No, thank you.
We're all hanging in there.
Yeah, we are. I'm getting stir crazy. My dad's driving me absolutely nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my parents smoke, so I tell them straight out, "You guys better stay inside, you bitches. You guys gotta stay inside. Put those cigs down and the fucking Purell."
I've isolated myself in the mountains of central Pennsylvania, and I'm just out here working and being productive. That's my.
So you're stuck in your dorm, or like your campus is?
I have an apartment. My campus is closed. There's not many people here. I have my roommate here, and I have like friends. I have a friend who lives next door and stuff. Like, I'm not alone, but I left my family. And the idea is I'm just gonna, like, if I'm stuck quarantined, I'm just gonna use this time to be productive.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I have, listen, Airborne #1, 2, Purell. I also have some Cloroxes. When I walk in, you gotta spray the perimeter so no air from the outside comes in. You gotta spray the perimeter. When you have money with change, I spray my change with Lysol. Boom, baby. That's it. Harry Mandel took over me, so...
Oh, I did.
I got the Harry Mandel.
I went to the grocery store yesterday, or 2 days
I read it
ago.
recently, too. I was a madhouse.
Actually, it wasn't that bad, mine, but pretty much had everything, actually. But when I walked in, right at the front door was a sanitation station where they had like 5 rolls of paper towels, wet wipes. They had spray bottles. And I was like, good.
Yeah, like in New York.
And like I did that. I sprayed down the cart where you would grab it, and I wiped that down. Then I wiped my hands with the wet wipes.
Look
and
at
I'm
you,
like,
John.
all right, we're
Look
clean.
at you. Look at you. Love that. Look at that. Yeah, but
I was
New
like,
York,
shout out to my local wipes for being socially responsible.
In everybody, I got no toilet paper. I'm gonna wipe my ass with sandpaper. People are going crazy. In New York, there's 99-cent stores. You walk down, hey, can I have 2 rolls? There you go. Thank you.
About a month ago, I was grocery shopping with my roommate, and I was buying toilet paper. And I'm like, do I buy the little pack or the big pack? And I'm like, well, I get the
it almost
pack.
consumed you.
And he's like, John, why don't you get the big pack? Because then you won't need to buy toilet paper for a while. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll get the big pack. So I have like 24 rolls of toilet paper in my apartment, and all the shit goes down. And I see toilet paper flying off the shelf, and I'm like,
and you know what's funny?
Thank God he told me a month ago to get the big pack, because I still got like 12 rolls left in my bathroom. And when the price of toilet paper rises up higher than gold,
it's insane.
Your boy's set for life.
It's insane.
Don't buy Bitcoin, buy
toilet paper now with the coronavirus. Don't you forget Ebola. First of all, Ebola was killing people up the wazoo. Ebola was making you shit blood and mud dirt. Like, that's when you needed toilet paper. No, I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying right now. I heard. Listen, Dr. Drew's my man. Dr. Drew, listen to me. Dr. Drew, you tell anything to Dr. Drew when he says this to me, I believe it. That's it. Dr. Drew with that he had white hair since how long? Anybody with white hair you gotta agree with. Anybody with white hair and glasses and a button-down shirt he works with every day, you gotta believe in them. You gotta believe in them. That's it. But no, Ebola was making people shit blood, and you don't want toilet paper then.
I love you, Turbo.
I love you too. I love everybody. Smooches around.
Well, anyway, on that note,
I had 2 things. There was an awesome point in chat from where was it? God, that was something. Small Smash Ball 115 Smash Ball. I love that. I am getting memories that I do not have from Doritos Crash Course. I thought that was a hilarious comment. It's such a nostalgic game. You feel like you've played that game, and you should have memories from it. And funny enough, John, have you only lived with guys in college?
Ooh,
yes.
I lived with both guys and girls at different times throughout college, and toilet paper was we would go through so much toilet paper when I lived with girls.
I have my own bathroom too, so it's me and I bought 24 packs.
Well, toilet paper for them is also.
Well, I share. Yeah, I get why. I'm very much understand why.
It's a lot of things. If they don't got the hoo-has, they put it in the hoo-has.
I get it.
There you go.
We didn't have to go there, but I get it. But the amount we went through, because we had to share bathrooms. Oh my God. I was like, I thought guys were like the ones that are gross in a sense. You live with 3 girls and you learn.
Oh yeah.
So much.
You walk in my sister's room getting dressed for one day, clothes everywhere. It's insane.
I mean, even when I lived with my sister, we had separate bathrooms. You had your own resources. Mom and dad take care of it. As soon as it changed up, like you were saying, you were with your roommate, then your roommate's shouting out. I thought you were sharing it. That's was like, get the big pack. We'll share it. Because us, it was like, do we get 2 big packs? Is this going to last? Am I spending this money? This is ridiculous how much money we spend on this shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to make a recommendation. I recently made a life-changing purchase.
Oh boy!
I bought 3 packs of flushable wet wipes.
Yeah.
Those are game changers.
You gotta do it. You gotta do the wet wipes.
All right, we're here, aren't we? So yes, I've made that change.
I've got a system now. First, I use the dry wipes, wet, then dry.
Yes.
After life changing.
Okay, so we're here. And by the way, yes, we are both equally disgusting, both genders. Absolutely. No, I'm with you on that. I was just shocked because I didn't have that experience before then. No. Expand your horizons in college. I have had to be on wet wipes because of all the stomach problems I've had forever, but they are game changing. The next step is bidets. They are the game changer. Everyone being like, hey, gotta get the toilet paper. Just use water, you animals.
Every
That
every podcast they're endorsing those bidets. Oh.
Flushable wet wipes, though, greatest purchase I've ever
They're
made.
not flushable, even if they say they're flushable.
Are you sure? 'Cause
Yes.
I bought like specialty flushable wet
I
wipes.
know, I do too. And I got yelled at, and plumbers say, no, you can't flush those. But it's
you
your
clogging your toilet up?
I'm only in this apartment for 3 more months, and that's the problem.
My house,
Because I'm not sacrificing this newfound luxury.
no. What you just do what girls do with they have the sanitary boxes, and then you just put a lining in it, put it in that, and do that with it. That way you don't damage your plumbing. The problem is they don't dissolve like normal toilet paper. So once again, it's another
that ain't my plumbing.
Of course, yeah. If you use it in your house after hearing us,
the landlord's spending $100,000.
They go in there, and then it's tons of money to get a plumber to get the giant buildup of wet wipes in your sewage.
Well, I'll
just
let somebody
putting
else
that
deal
out
with
there.
I'll let the next tenants deal with that.
All right, nothing like good old poop talk. All right,
you're gonna walk in just flood of poop.
Captain Murphy says everybody loves the Shangri-La Baby Maker gun and seems to know its actual name by heart. I feel like I'm missing an inside joke with the name. Is there one? Yeah, the name is coordinates to the Himalayas.
Yeah.
Switch out the letters for numbers, and it takes you to the Himalayas when you throw it into Google.
Yep.
Would you look at that?
Next one, Magna Collider says, look at these 3 sexy bastards. Hope you are having a great day.
Kyle.
Just based off the leaks, it says that Black Ops 5 will ditch the fantasy of realism, as we read in the article, and make zombies more gritty, and the story is way more than a couple games without falling back into some point of having fantasy elements, as it got real heavy in BO3. Yeah, it's a lot of what we were talking about already. Cam the Man 21 says, did you ever watch Avatar: The Last Airbender? If so, what are your thoughts on Nickelodeon shows that felt more than just for kids?
Oh God,
Avatar's a classic.
I had that thought yesterday.
Are you aware that Netflix is doing a live action reboot?
I wasn't. That's awesome. That's exciting.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Netflix is doing a live action reboot. It's going to follow pretty much actually the exact same story from what I understand.
It should. It was solid.
What's disappointing is that production was supposed to begin in 2020.
And
so
obviously the virus.
Hopefully, production's just delayed and then it won't end up getting canned. But it seems like it definitely is going to happen. But that's exciting. If you haven't seen Avatar, one of the best.
I remember going to Toys R Us back in the day and getting the glider, getting the pop out glider.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Love it. Did you go to New York City's Toys R Us as well, since you live there?
Oh, the Ferris wheel? Hell yeah.
You go there? Oh, dude, it's always a treat when I visit that place. You got to go there all the time.
It's not there. No, it's not there no more. It's not there.
You're right. And FAO Shorts went out as well. Did you grow up with that as well?
Yep, I walked in there a bunch of times too, man. Yo, when we go into this Yankee game, Reed, even though now with
it's delayed, but whenever you want, dude. Seriously, when I'm down in the city,
I'm down, man. I went to my first Yankee game last year for the first time because everything was just Mets games. Yep. I went to my first Yankee. Listen, I gotta say, Yankee Stadium, it's corporate up the ass.
You're not kidding.
You go to Citi Field, Mr. Met, kids, oh my God, have fun. Yankees like, all right, where's my hot dog?
Exactly. Where's the tie? Where's my $40,000 hot dog?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel that definitely. It's not like the old stadium. One thing, though, the Yankees lucked out on this year, and we'll wrap up baseball talk, is that I was furious to hear all of our players were injured to start the season again.
Judge,
Judge, Stanton, Paxton, all these guys. And I think we had 6 people already on the injured list or day-to-day before the season even started. And then we got 2 months, basically, of rest. So now everyone can start on opening day again. So I'm like, yes! Yes!
I'm just, to end this also, I'm just happy to see how bad the Astros get booed.
I hope so.
Every game.
Yeah, well, now I'm worried, sadly. Like, one of the side effects of this horrible situation is the Astros aren't going to be held accountable for being dirtbags. And that they cheated. It's one of the worst scandals in baseball history, and it got away with murder.
The guy said, we did. We
they're
won,
not sorry. That's what I don't like, is none of them aren't sorry about it. They're like, well, I don't care. We won a World Series. Eat it. And it's just like, God, you guys are... Screw you, dude.
So nothing happened to them? Just nothing?
No. All the players are immune, and the fine, they made more money cheating on the whole fine. They made $50 million and paid a $5 million fine, and the coach and the GM paid they got fired, and then the owner just like, we didn't do anything wrong. It didn't give us an advantage.
And our manager got kicked, Carlos Beltran. He had to leave because he was on the team.
Yeah, the Mets got screwed. Either. Yeah, that was great. That was
Turbo, by chance, are you a Knicks fan?
No.
Oh, thank God. That'd be horrible.
I'm a Nets fan, but I used to root for the Lakers. Rip Kobe. Yeah,
the reason I asked was because apparently Nick's owner
has corona. Yeah, James Dolan. You know what? I don't listen. Not saying anything bad. Hope you recover and everything. But James Dolan, I hope the coughs are a little sharp. I hope the coughs are a little hurtful. I do. No, I hope you come out strong. I hope you do what you got to do to come out living. I respect, much love, God bless. But I hope you honestly, as you're leaving, hope you hit a fucking pothole and you break a toe. I just think that's what happens.
I heard people dislike him so much that, and I read a tweet that said if Corona ends up taking him, they might.
Reed just shit himself. Reed's stomach problems came back.
They might hang number 19 in the rafters if James Dolan.
This is the difference between.
They're gonna put his number up there.
New York fans.
No, they're gonna put 19 in the rafters.
There is New York fans and there's New York fans, New York City fans and New Yorkers. Very different people. Very
New Yorkers might legitimately
level.
hang the number 19 in the rafters.
Oh yeah, no. I'm the type of New Yorker that's like, I'll talk my shit, but I have nothing like that. But there's some people that they'll just go to New York. They'll have no job. They can do it on a Monday. And James Dolan. So yeah.
All right. Last one. I gotta pull back up. Cat Murphy says, "Are you guys gonna get the BioShock collection when it drops on Switch?"
No, I've bought it so many times over.
I might.
You
I've
should
only
play
played
it.
Infinite. Really liked it. I think I could actually really give because I think BioShock is one of those single player games that I can pick up and really enjoy. Like I prefer my shooters to be linear.
Yeah.
And I could see that being the perfect game to have on my Switch to take and go with me when I'm like traveling around.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know if you got the series and their DLCs. I love the series. I already have it for PC, so I'm not gonna get it for Switch.
I had Infinite on the 360, and then I later bought it on the PC when it was a sale that had all the DLCs.
Yeah, for like $10.
I ended up actually never really playing it because that's what you do when you buy games on Steam. You don't play them. But I think I might actually go through playing the original BioShocks if they do come out on Switch.
Yeah, I'd recommend it. It's an excellent series.
I will report back, Captain Murphy.
I will read my donations now. David Kirk donated £9.99. Thank you so much, David. What is your favorite game based off a TV show or movie? Mine has to be South Park: The Stick of Truth. That's an excellent suggestion.
Same.
I should have. That's also one of those games I bought on Steam and never played.
That's a really good one.
They had balls with that game. It was amazing.
They always do. The two creators of that show are amazing. I forget their names now off the top of my head, but those two guys.
The same creators like the Book of Mormon, right?
Yes.
In Broadway?
Yes, that's them. They're great. Trevor? I think it's Trevor.
Trey Parker.
Trey Parker. Yeah. Okay. They're excellent. TV shows. I remember playing for the GameCube. It wasn't very good, but Breaking the Rules.
I was gonna
Fairly
say
Odd Parents, Breaking the Rules. GameCube had so many of like TV show, Nickelodeon
the
TV
SpongeBob,
shows.
Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah.
The battle of whatever, Bikini Bottom.
Yep. Oh, dude, the cartoon shows. We didn't even answer that question of any adult cartoon shows I've enjoyed. There's been tons of them. I prefer animation, a lot of animation, films like Pixar, Lucasfilm animations, Clone Wars, and stuff that I've really enjoyed.
Clone Wars is one of those kid shows that's great for any audience.
Yeah, and one of the ones that just wrapped up, I was watching. My sister got me involved, and I was like, this show is stupid. It's stupid. She made me watch 50 episodes of it years ago, up 50, but they're really short. They're about 10 minutes long a piece. And then eventually it hit a point where I'm like, oh, I really like this show, and it got way more serious, more adult as time's gone on. Steven Universe just wrapped up, and I really enjoyed all the themes and stuff in Steven Universe for cartoon animation. But there's tons of them. I heard good things about Gravity Falls. Courage the Cowardly Dog was for me as a kid. I watched that all the time.
Never liked that show.
I love that show.
Cat Dog.
Cat Dog. Cat Dog.
Like Nickelodeon, Nickelodeon had shows. Like think about it, Drake and Josh. You had, and then going further, you had Zoe 101. You had Big Time. She got pregnant. Big Time Rush. she did the deed. Read. Then there was Victorious. Then it was like all those shows that were meant for kids. You enjoyed it still.
Yeah.
Drake. I wish those came back.
You say that, but also at the same time, like. Right as I started to age out of that content, that was when like Big Time Rush and Victorious came on TV.
Yes,
so you can even it's. I think it's less so that these shows they had a golden age, but that you were just of the right age for it, and you can kind of see because you and I are like 2 or 3 years apart, and you can see that in the shows that we look back on as like the classics, where it's like we overlap on Drake and Josh, but miss on like Victorious.
Well, there's a renaissance that just ended with Steven Universe right now that many point to in the animation world, because there's Gravity Falls, Adventure Time, Steven Universe, BoJack Horseman. All these came out after a dead period of about 5.5 years in terms of like critical acclaim. So I am interested to see what the next generation of animated series will bring.
No, yeah, no, were you guys into I just forgot now. Were you guys like into like Disney at all? Like Disney XD, Disney shows? Yeah. I would always go back.
How many times did you watch Smart House between us, huh? How many times did you watch Smart House? No?
Smart House.
On
no,
Disney?
I think he's too young for Smart House.
Oh my god, that shit was on loop on Disney XP, where the house tries to become the mother, which is also Smart House. The Disney remake of Smart House is of original Smart House that was even older than the one that we saw in there. Oh my god.
Yeah, wait, Turbo, what year were you born?
2000.
Oh!
Yeah, Smart House is older than you.
That shakes me. The remake.
You're probably a few years too late.
Oh,
little bit. Reed just shit himself again. 2 shits.
Ah!
2000, baby. 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I didn't need that in my day right now.
I say this all the time, and this is a bit I have on stage. I grew up at the perfect era. I grew up from 0 to, listen to me, eh? 0 to 10. 0 to 10, I was outside, kids still on the block, riding bikes. I still had the outside experience.
Yeah,
then the Xbox came in. Then the other stuff came in. I got best of both worlds. Rest case.
I feel that, but also you were born.
I could also say the same thing.
Yeah, I
it's
did
true.
it too.
I guess it's just your childhood if you really,
Yeah, if you went outside in your childhood, but the reason I laughed,
today, I can't get my cousin to go outside and play basketball and wiffle ball if I want to. I still have that. Like, let's go play wiffle ball. Let's go play basketball.
I played so much wiffle ball.
No, I would try the knuckleball every time.
I love wiffle ball. Okay, but the reason I laughed was you were born, and then 1 year later, the Patriot Act is passed, 9/11. So I'm like, that's a childhood of.
I'm not thinking politics. I didn't even know what was going on.
Social issues where there's like, let's erode America's rights.
When I had like actual knowledge of what the hell I was doing, where I was, I didn't even know now. Thing when I was like, like growing up, it wasn't even like until schools like would teach it to you, like what happened on 9/11.
Yeah, and it's a 5-year difference for me, chat. That's half a decade is rough. All right, 4 years I could still be cheating and be like, that's so long, but no, 5-year difference. Oof, I'm getting old and I hate it. Oh, all right.
Boomer.
Yeah, I'm a dirty boomer. All right. Yes. So, any other video games based off TV shows? I feel like there's been more, but I don't remember any off the top of my head.
There was a period where GameCube and stuff. There was period
so
where
many.
Every movie came a game. Every movie.
Yeah, there was so many.
It was THC.
Curious George was a fun one.
Yeah, THQ. You're so right.
With the museum and stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Love it.
Damn. I still have a memory eating Honey Nut Cheerios and playing Curious George, and also just doing my homework at the same time. My mother getting pissed at me, like, "What are you doing?"
I have a memory of playing Star Fox Adventures with my friend over. One of my childhood best friends. My sister was there. We were trying to beat Star Fox Adventures, and I remember we was the first time we were using Tostitos and a new cheese we were trying. We kept warming up the cheese. It was so good. It was just like nacho dip. Oh, you just triggered that wonderful memory in me as well. I don't know. That's nostalgia and childhood speaking. That's why people can look at zombies and have the same nostalgia where we're like, BO4, it's garbage, I hate it. And they'll be like, this is what I grew up on having.
Anytime anybody asks me what my favorite map is, I always Rise Interact for story and shit, Easter eggs, but then for nostalgia, for my friends, we had a blast on Town. A blast every weekend on Town.
Nostalgia is strong. Thanks for the question, David Kirk. Mr. Drown, back at it again. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Hope all is well. Stay safe, stay positive, and have a great week. It's so good to see you here week after week. Stay safe as well. David Ortega, or is it Ortega, with a $4.99 donation. Hi, Rad and Zombros. Hope to see some good BO5 Zombies content. I love your Ether poster. 83 on the Giant. Round 83 on the Giant. That's impressive. And I'm glad you like the Ether poster. I got a bump in them. I got like 6 orders in a day for some reason. I don't know why, but if you guys want to buy the Ether posters, you can get them at radrendering.com if you're interested.
Get your posters.
Lots of posters coming. All right. And that does it for my donor questions. Do you have anything on Patreon that you need to address, John? We didn't talk about the poll.
Oh, the poll we missed.
Yeah, well, there weren't any submissions. Oh, so the poll. So actually, it turned out 70% of the patrons who answered the poll were interested in the Black Ops reboot.
Oh, well, there you go then.
There weren't any like comments on it. We'll have to work on that in the future.
Sure.
But this is a way we want to get like you guys integrated into the conversation, so you guys can actually like leave your input, and if we find it interesting or relevant to the conversation, we would bring that in. I did upload for the first time in months a new soccer video, and I just want to give it a plug if that's all right.
Yeah, go for it. Love
it. It's currently got 17 views in its first 2 hours. One thumbs up. 2 comments. It's a video about Gio Reyna, who is a 17-year-old, came from a soccer academy in New York, Turbo, your neck of the woods, who is lighting it up professionally, or was prior to the corona outbreak. And a lot of talk of him being the next big American star. So I made a quick video on that. I'll throw it, Reed, in your chat.
Go for it.
Love it if the Zombroz army, or whatever we call you guys, show the video some love.
You gotta get your fans a name. Come on, we gotta get Zombroz a nice little zing.
Nope. We're good.
Yeah, so if you guys want to show that video some love, it would be appreciated. Yeah.
Anybody watch the Tiger King documentary on Netflix?
No.
No, I don't know.
You know what, Reed? It probably ain't for you, but you know what? I think you'd love it.
Tiger King, Murders, Mayhem,
Tiger King
Madness.
with Joe Exotic.
Oh God,
Come on! Oh, it ain't even about lions. It ain't even about lions. You're gonna see meth. You're gonna see a lot of things.
Looking at the picture of this man.
Do not judge Joe Exotic by a look. Do not judge Joe Exotic by a picture. You have to watch Joe Exotic. That's his name, Joey Exotic.
I will watch Joey Exotic
he's broke. He tried drugs and he's running for governor. That's what he's doing. So you better.
Is that why this documentary was made?
It's not great. No, not even close. It's like Reed, I'm not even gonna spoil it.
Okay. Well, I do like documentaries. I watched quite a few of them. The most recent ones I watched was the pharmacy one that they put on Netflix, was really good. Taylor Swift's up there. I really enjoyed that one as well. Yeah, those are the 2 most recent ones I watched. Claremont Sleet donates real quickly, and he says, what do you guys think of the Modern Warfare 2 remaster? That was part of the update in the article. I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, maybe we'll actually get it this time. Who knows? Because last time we were right on the precipice. Glitching Queen, I believe, was all over that, and then they ended up not releasing the game. So you got me there.
Who knows?
Yeah. So I believe that's everything. New mainframe episode Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Another live stream will be happening Thursday. Probably Go Riders, Zetsubo Nushima, Easter egg runs, or I might even dabble in high round runs. Just have fun with that. But I'm thoroughly excited to see what Resident Evil 3 will bring and any new stuff that's coming on down the pipeline. Posters go on sale this week. 2 days from now, the Resident Evil posters go on sale March 31st through April 30th. Let's go.
There you go.
Let's go. Try and buy them. I'll be sending them out to you. Got plenty of them, so get after it if you want to support the channel. Thanks for watching this episode of Zombroz. Thank you, Turbo, for coming on. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
No
this problem. Was a wonderful conversation to have.
Always love coming on the show, guys. I always
we love having you on.
Go.
It's so much fun. We'll be back next week with another episode of Zombroz at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Sunday. Until then, be safe, and we'll see you then. Take care now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.